not to say that the OCG not to say the OCG never come up with infinite loops, but it's like majority of them come from the TCG side because it's just a different. It's a different mantra.
And it's also one of those things where, like, sorry, chat, we're talking about how the ban list's not out yet.
I was blindsided by hearing double despair for a second.
Yeah, sorry, I started the before time. I should actually post an announcements as well. I started the before time. I let it run for like 2 minutes, and then I'm like, all right, when we got to break in the conversation, we'll rotate out. So, but the ban list has not appeared, chat. RIP, everybody. Continue to cope. I made the joke that Johnny Konami personally told me that the ban list would be today so we could talk about it, but no.
I can't wait for it to come out like mid. It'll somehow come out like midstream. Who knows?
I don't think it will because I'm pretty sure it's going to be after closing hours, you know, at some point for Konami. But who knows? I don't know what they're cooking something, but they're rapidly running out of days in August to cook. And if they mean it's not going to be August, they need to like they need to like actually acknowledge it and say, hey, sorry, we lied. We actually want a little more time to cook on it. We're going to give you the TCG ban list like after Worlds, you know, which people wouldn't be happy about, but they would prefer to just. I mean, we were talking earlier. Vesper was talking earlier about how TCG players are just the unhinged, and it's true. I know sometimes like the Japanese players will get on Konami's ass on like Twitter. Konami can't post shit on Twitter without 40,000 replies of just ban list, ban list, ban list, ban list. This is not the ban list. You can't announce anything on Twitter that's not the ban list. And after they post the ban list, people are probably going to be replying for like weeks about how the ban list sucks. I don't know, man.
Yeah. They're in a lose-lose situation, which is we're in that state where like it's always kind of been like the last handful of sets have just not been great. Like there have been great cards. There have been cool things going on, but in the grand scheme of things, the game has not been in the best place, as you've seen many people talking about.
We're in an unfortunate zone where Fiendsmith is really interesting, and it is doing that thing that is cool about like generic extra deck options, which is Fiendsmith is kind of a rising tide that lifts all boats. The problem is that Snake Eyes exists. Snake Eyes is basically completely unhit in the TCG, and also we know there's approximately 10,000 more years of Snake Eyes because it's the current story cycle in the OCG, so we know it's gonna keep going. And as it keeps going, more of those cards will continue to be compatible with Diabellstar and shit, which is just going to make this problem worse. And also, I think that Gimmick Puppet is also doing like some FTKs and lockouts in the OCG. I presume that they're maybe a little less on the Sanctifier strat, but like, hey, legacy support for Gimmick Puppet is stupid cracked. It's, it makes your monsters completely uninteractable on turn 1, which sucks because they have an FTK. So that's just bad. Konami, you gotta do something about that. That should just not be how Yu-Gi-Oh! Is played. And Tenpai is also, like... again, I've talked about this before. Conceptually, I like that Tenpai reinvigorates the battle phase, and there are ways to get out of it. The fact that they do this by the way their field spell is just, like, in main phase 1, does kind of shut off, like, counterplay to the deck, which is obviously the point, but, it's a thing. We can vamp for a a little bit until...
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. I was about to say...
Okay, I was trying it multiple times. I just had to wait for you to finish talking.
It's good.
That was 4 minutes ago.
You got it? All right. Well, that was going to be my check-in. Also, I don't know if it was 4 minutes ago, because I think you barely got here when I was at live 2 minutes. And you were like, hold on, my mic's not working.
Oh, it's more, it felt like you talked for that long. Continuously without breathing.
Incorrect. I'm looking at the timer. I do yap a lot, but the stream has only been live, which includes 2 minutes or a minute and a half-ish. I think I let the before times run. That's all in there. Anyway, hi, chat. That does mean I guess I can segue, because there is no ban list. And also, Master Duel continues to be sleepy. Hey, kids, tryout duels. You want to have a free fusion gate? Thanks.
Not really.
That's so cool. I mean, Wind and Water was neat. It reminded me how fucking rad Ice Barrier is, even if Ice Barrier Loner deck did have some ratios that were designed by a deranged 11-year-old.
I never actually saw the Ice Barrier deck. What the fuck even was?
Let me see if I can grab a screen grab of the Ice Barrier Loner, and I'll put it on screen so chat can catch up as well. God, can I like minus thumbnail? Can I remove all thumbnails from my? Nope, that doesn't work. God damn it. Sorry, I'm Google image searching for the fucking Loner. There we go. Hold on, is this it? No, that's an Ice Jade deck from a million years ago. No. Sorry, I know that Google owns YouTube, but it's kind of annoying where I'm like, go to Google image search and I'm loaded with YouTube thumbnails in my image search. I don't want to search for YouTube thumbnails right now, Google. Let's see if it's on YG organization. It'll be old. If anybody listening out there can, give me a blessing from God and just link me the fucking Loner decks, that would be nice. Actually, no, they do got it in YG organization. Okay. I will post it to fail first. I'll put it on screen. Not that I want you to stop seeing this beautiful image I collaged for you, but we'll be back in a sec. So, it was the 1-star difficulty deck, so it's pretty straightforward. You can see they've got most of your good shit in here. 3 Hexa Spirit, 3 Mirror Master, 3 Revealer, 3 Spirits, 3 Georgius, 2 Wayne. They have, unfortunately,
Wayne!
Yeah, Wayne of the Ice Barrier. 3 Medallion, shit like that. You're playing 3 Imperm for some reason and only 1 copy of Ice Barrier.
We got all the big guys, but we're not even playing the one of like try spell. Like even
I
as
don't know if we have the right big guys for that.
No, it's 3 level 6 or higher.
Oh, okay.
Or
so
like
it's any of them? Yeah. Then we probably could have squeaked that in there. You're also running 3 of the Ice Jade lady, which is critical to this deck because, my opinion, after playing this event very thoroughly, I got all the gems. I didn't want to go deep in the legacy tickets for fucking Legendary Fisherman. That was horseshit. That would require you to play too much Yu-Gi-Oh! But most human beings have not read Ice Jade Gimir Egarin. And if they have read her, most of them haven't actually figured out what the fuck that means. If you don't know, chat, Egarin the Synchro has a quick effect that makes it so your monsters cannot be destroyed or banished for the rest of this turn. I believe it's face-up monster you control specifically. And also, as part of this quick effect, if you activate it in response to an opponent's card effect, you may banish cards of that same name as that effect from their field or graveyard. All of them. So yeah, it's your opponent takes a -1 and you get a very strong blanket protection for a turn. The amount of people in the mirror match who tried to summon White Aura Whale and blow up my board and then just had to scoop because that's not how that works, Chief. Pretty high.
Yeah, I'm reading
also,
Magic.
Good.
I found a Magic Triangle. It's not even high levels. It just revealed 3 different names, which it's the old school funny way to turbo out one of the big guys.
Okay. I mean, this
And
has several ways to get the
playing...
big guys. I will say that I think they were too nice. The big assholes they have you play are Daisojo, whatever the Punch General is, I don't remember, and is it General Raiho? There's a lot of generals. The only one of those that's really annoying...
Raiho and Daisojo.
Yeah.
Raiho's the one that I think is the asshole. It just adds a discard a card onto every...
Yes. That
activation.
is in the deck, which is good, but Daisojo is just during the end phase you can summon back an Ice Barrier and... not Daisojo, General Watala, and Daisojo is just you can't be targeted by spell effects, I think. Which is okay, but, like... they only put one of the giant floodgate assholes in here, and I guess Watala is like a 7, so you can kind of make the Sync 3 thing work, but the ratios weren't the best, but it's a very funny deck. Pack Mr. Enigbit's very funny. New Brionac is very funny. They put Coral Dragon here, obviously. They put fucking 2 Trishulas and Trishula Zero in here. Crocodragon is also really crazy if you can get the token set up in here. They gave you 2 of Lancia of the Ice Mountain, who is just a gigafucker of a card. I did not realize how good this guy is. You should be taking Ice Barrier to your locals, kids. Lancia, when up to twice per turn, whenever your opponent special summons, let you special summon an Ice Barrier monster from your like hand deck or extra deck. So you can just put floodgates in the middle of your opponent's turn, like Raiho, while they're doing shit. Also, if he's removed, if he's sent from the leaves the field by your opponent's card effect, you get a free synchro of an Ice Barrier monster that counts as a synchro summon, so you can Trishula or Trishula 0 as well.
The Lancia synchros, fucking stupid.
Yeah, he's crazy. The other two decks were Speedroid, which I did not see a lot of, and Gotti, which I did see a decent amount of. But yeah,
I would be playing at least 2 of these decks, because like I at least would try Speedroid and then probably just commit to Gotti.
I mean, they're both loners, so you can switch back and forth. Gotti is, I think the Gotti deck was decently represented, and I saw it pretty good. I will say that I do kind of feel like, with the limited number of, like, hand traps and responses, Gotti is a little annoying, just because it is, unfortunately, like a long synchro combo deck where you do 5 minutes of setup on your turn, and then you're in your opponent's standby phase. You do 5 minutes of more setup. I'm not against those concepts in paper where you can, like, go faster. In Master Duel, it's just like, God, it's been fucking, like, 4 or 5 minutes, and it's my turn, and I can't play my turn yet. But it is still a very interesting deck that I think they also had good ratios. But we're not here to talk about that, chat. You've had a little vamp time. We're here to talk about 2 things. So this is technically our Patreon poll result episode. And as usual, you guys collectively are Patreons, but also I will shame our non-Patreons because they're not Patreons. You can pay me to not shame you. Create a tie. Thanks, guys. Luckily, though, the tie this month was between Inpachi and the Agents.
So my pick and Loft's pick, considering our related history, we decided to be like, fuck it, we'll do both.
Yeah, Inpachi's very small. There's 4 monsters, and there's a handful of spell traps that have Inpachi on them that I do want to show because they are funny. And also, some of them are actually like cards you may have heard of. I may not realize that are involved in this saga. So that's really easy to pull up. And also, honestly, the Agents isn't that big either. I mean, it's, there's 9 planets, and, we got to talk about Mystic Shineball.
They also got a few more new cards, because they also have, like, alternative versions of some of them, yeah.
One of them.
Oh, only Venus so far?
Yeah, there's only Evil Venus so far. And there's the Dark Hyperion and the Synchro Hyperion as well, but that goes in the Hyperion. So, yeah, it's not very big. I will say, I will qualify before we get into it. I'm going to show Sanctuary of the Sky and a couple of the cards that are directly linked to the Agents, because they are a deck that wants Sanctuary. We are not going fully down the Sanctuary in the Sky hole, because that's also, like, Parshath, Zera, other Counter Fairies cards. We're just going to do, like, the high level we need to cover the Agent part of that. But
yeah, because by that point, I'd rather think we should just do Zera, like, do all the Zera and all the versions and then work from there.
Yeah, well, even then, like I said, there's also, like, a shitload of Parshath directly related and other stuff. Sanctuary in the Sky is a part of the semi-generic, like, fairy turbo deck, which there were a lot of variations of over the years. We are, though, saving ourselves a little bit of trouble because Agents was a structure deck. So that's skipping a future Fail Portrayal topico. Oops. Sorry, my bad.
Well, like, the other thing is, too, like, with like, the Sanctuary in the Sky fairy, like, that... They're like, there have been a few fairy decks that have been good, but it's always just kind of been fairy slop in the same way of, like, Earth Machine.
Yeah, there are enough generic fairy support cards that you can cherry pick all the best ones from all the subtypes, including, like, running pure like archetype types, like what do you call it, like Herald and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, then like Herald usually just end up kind of a negate engine in your fairy or ritual deck, depending.
So we're gonna begin at the beginning. Hopefully, Loth has done stuff in his face with rice.
Oh no!
Unfortunately.
It him. The man, the myth,
My boy.
the Tregent, Inpachi. He is a log man.
I'm amazed.
The original lad.
Is there a reason why it's 18 on his chest?
There's a pun for that in his name. So his name in Japanese is Daimokujin Inpachi. Trended as large wooden man number 18. I am assuming that there's some kind of pun in there that I don't get.
I mean, 8 is Hachi, so I'm assuming it's some kind of phonetic joke. Inpachi.
Yes, Inpachi is a portmanteau of 1 and 8.
Yeah.
So like it's truncating Ichi and Hachi together. So it's
it's probably Ipats, which is another way to say one sometimes, like the first.
Yeah. So he's number 18. His flavor text, because this guy is a normal monster, is a log that attacks lost travelers in the forest. Originally a big tree, it was cut down and possessed by a wicked spirit.
But was it a hermit tree?
No, because spoilers. It's going to come out very fast because there's only 4 of these guys. Vanilla Inpachi is a machine. He is not a plant. This is an earth machine, actually.
Plants exist by then?
Oh.
Yes, plants have always existed.
Oh, okay.
Though this guy is very early. He was first released in Pharaonic Guardian as a common. But yeah, he's an earth machine.
I want to say one of the first new typings was like Sea Serpent or something.
Yeah, Sea Serpent was like early, but it took them, I think, a couple of sets to get to those cards.
If his archetype was rock, we can make so many fucking pseudo-widow jokes.
Yes. Yeah. And there were a few types that like were rare or like barely appeared in the first couple sets that they did expand later. But yeah, no. Inpachi is for some reason an earth machine. He is a level 4. Yep. He has 1600 attack and 1900 defense. So like honestly, for Pharaonic Guardian, like which is like the 4th set of Yu-Gi-Oh ever, not terrible.
Yeah, not the worst.
And the wiki, by the way, on the Inpachi series does actually say that it is recommended to combo Inpachi in old school beatdown strategies, skill drain turbo, and little city decks. So some of the Inpachi cards did actually make a name for themselves. Probably our next one more than this first one, but still, he's got a pretty killer stat line for the year 2004.
Oh yeah, and he's what 1850, 1800. Forget.
He's 1600 attack, 1900 defense.
Oh, the original was 16. Wow.
Yes.
Still, not bad.
Yeah, not that big, but yeah.
I mean, he's got a fat ass, and he's got a lot of attack for having a fat ass for a 4-star.
1619, right?
Yeah, he's 1619. And keep in mind, as an Earth machine, there's a shitload of cards to make that better. You know,
it's
Gaia
blazing
Power.
About 1850 or something, right?
Who will be our next pull? Because that's kind of the story we got going on with this guy. So we have normal. I assume he's machine because he looks like he's kind of like a training dummy. Like he's kind of like he is like a wooden robot. It's like that one episode where Bender became wood.
Yeah.
Also, keep in mind, as much as Loth is like, woo, yeah, cool, I love this guy. Inpachi is a bad guy, chat. He's a bad man. He fights Gaga Gigo in the Marauding Captain and works for that crazy motherfucker Kozuki.
Guy who kills himself over work.
Possibly making more Inpachis.
What's that other guy?
So, this is our next one. Blazing Inpachi.
The real question is, when are we going to get 19 and 20 and then perfect Inpachi?
Kidding me, I'd love a perfect Inpachi. That'd be great.
Honestly, if they went with that, that'd be pretty fun, actually.
So, I can only assume this is what happened after the trap card backfire happened.
I would assume
possibly.
So.
We'll talk about the trap cards that he's on.
Yeah.
The timeline is a little inexact, but yeah, there's some stuff going on. So this is Blazing Inpachi. First of all, love this card art. Got a great like brushwork effect for the fire.
Oh yeah, the fire aesthetic on this is pretty damn.
Yeah. He is a normal pyro monster. As mentioned before, he is 1850, which as an 1850 pyro is pretty good. Admittedly, he was a little outmoded because he came out in Invasion of Chaos when we, broke everything, but still, like, real good steez. Honestly, so good. This guy was in that, like, first generic fire structure deck they did, which was, like, the third structure deck they released ever. Well, along with Fury from the Deep that had Infernal Flame Emperor on it. So, like, he's been in structure decks. He's been in starter decks. He was introduced into speed duels in the GX Duel Academy box, So this guy is speed duel legal, which is probably pretty all right. He's seen a lot of play as an 1850 Zero. A more accessible mechanical chaser.
There are plenty of vanillas in this style that have just... They've just kind of always been in vogue in some sense of just like they just got big stats and that's enough for vanilla beaters. Like that's all you need. Just a big stat line. And 1850 is pretty damn good.
I love the work they did with just seeing the 18 and the eyes of what's glowing underneath all that fire. It's wow.
So wicked wooden spirit now burning in flames. Its fire attack is powerful, but soon it will be nothing but ashes.
Explains why it has 0 defense.
He's on fire.
Hey, he's protecting his defense for offense.
It hits hard, but it can't take a hit back.
Yeah.
And now, when he's nothing but ashes, it's Charcoal Inpachi.
Which is 121?
Yes. And also, once again, beautiful artwork. Also,
solid.
still very early, by the way. This was, again, 2004. This was in Soul the Duelist.
Yeah, we're speedrunning this Inpachi storyline.
Yeah.
But look at all that smoke.
And actually,
honestly, it feels like it all happened in like one day, honestly, the way it feels.
Probably. Also, it's funny to note here, I did order them that way because usually people talk about them because that's the way the story goes. But technically, Charcoal Inpachi was printed first. Because Blazing Inpachi was in... Actually, no. Okay, so it was a little before. Invasion of Chaos was early 04. All right. I mistook because of the way the... Dear Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki, I understand that, like, worldwide is cooler. Can you format it so the fucking English NA sets are on top? Because those are all earlier. Then we started producing worldwide. Keeps making me make these dumb mistakes. So, yeah, these were in this order, which is good. But, yeah, this is a 1-star Pyro Normal, so we're dropping the 4-star. But this does mean that he's one of those 1-stars with the ludicrous defense stats, as he has 100 defense and 100 attack and 2100 defense, as noted.
Mm-hmm. Which wouldn't get power crept for a pretty damn long time, right?
Yeah. No, it's pretty strong. And in fact, he still has the highest defense of all level 1 normal monsters.
Woo!
And it's also, once again, legal in speed duel, so they've kept him alive. He was also in one of the battle packs. He's been in some starter decks. And again, like I said, beautiful artwork with this smoky effect and the burnt out forest behind him.
Like I said, like it's got like a solemn kind of like almost like somber vibe. Like it just it like the art direction you definitely just get a just sad vibe,
which is funny because or slightly ironic because his flavor text has almost got like a punchline. A wicked wooden spirit that is burned out. Okay, normal, Sag. The barbecue grill with this charcoal is so awesome that everybody thinks it's priceless. Huh?
Yeah.
It's basically... You go.
It's just like, oh, how sad. Excuse me, what?
Oh, it means that it's basically charcoal wood made that has life energy inside of it, which means it probably burns quite amazingly and for a very long time.
Oh. Hey, Axe,
it's kind of morbid, though.
Did you ever take an English class and somebody told you that the curtains are just blue? I'll take that as
Yes.
an. I was gonna take that as a no, but okay, sure.
So
I
quickly
have.
before he disappears. Oh, he did disappear.
He
Shit.
just too late. What did you have to say? I can bring him back if you need to.
With his fire extinguished, it reminds me just the mental image I have whenever Lucky says he spent his soul's fire.
It is a little like that, yes. So this is canonically our last in the saga. This is Woodborg Inpachi, Jinzo Mokujin Inpachi.
I will say one thing about Charcoal Inpachi.
Yeah.
I double checked his Japanese flavor text just because I'm like that sounds like an Americanism. Nope, it's in the.
I mean, I feel
it's
like
in the
looking at
Japanese
Woodborg
text, too.
Inpachi, I kind of get the vibe they're going for. I gotta double check. Is this?
We can rebuild him. Also, he's gigantic.
Oh yeah, he's also way
Yeah.
Yeah,
way bigger.
he's always
now.
been pretty tall. He's like supposed to be an
We've
entire
replaced
tree.
We've replaced his legs with treads.
The wiki is showing me like a Japanese card art and an English card art, like they're different, but I cannot see what has been edited, if there is an edit. But yeah, so this is our latest monster in the storyline, and I think I want to say I think the reason why like Charcoal has that kind of punchline is I feel like what we're going for here is like this is the kind of shit you see in cheesy Japanese sci-fi films in like or animes in like the 60s and 70s. Like this is a like rebuilding Mechagodzilla ass card art right here.
I mean, it feels almost like a halfway Kamen Rider joke to it.
Yeah, so like I suspect that's why they gave him some punchline because he's a little goofy.
I've noticed the difference. Kozaki has horns in the OCG. That's just something that we
I guess
kind of
that's
forget
just
about.
something we I guess he's a demon scientist, so
They've even
weird.
gone and removed Inpachi's ball hands and given him claws.
Yeah. So Woodborg
Yeah,
Inpachi is a level 5 fire machine, so kind of combining the two attributes together. He's got 500 attack and 2500 defense, which I think for a 5 is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know at some point Neo Aquamador is around this time, and definitely power creeps that in a sense, like where 3 kind of becomes the traditional for tribute sets, but 2500 is still pretty. Like 2500 will still stop most other 5,
And
6.
to be fair, Neo Aquamador is a 6 as well, so there's a little bit of wiggle room there. Usually the level difference doesn't matter, but like we do have some barriers. You know, we don't usually have 7s like overtake 8s, etc.
Like the ice barriers. Am I gonna get killed from the VC? What's gonna happen here?
No, I raised an
I
eyebrow at you. You're doing a callback, but I don't get it.
Oh, you said we have many barriers here.
Oh.
Well, first of all, the ice barrier, there's only one. I think. But sometimes there's freezing chains. No. And so Woodborg, and again, really good artwork, but very different in style, though it's funny how you can feel the sense of scale, because, like, Woodborg Inpachi is kaiju-sized. He has a fucking staircase running around him and a little door in his chest.
And he's also missing half of his body at this point.
Yeah. But this is, his flavor text reads, "The new form of the enigmatic Inpachi, remodeled by cutting-edge dark-willed technology. Maneuverability has been sacrificed for strong armor, which is considered more important."
Honestly, I feel like at some point, I feel like the first 10 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark World just means the Demon Land, anything there.
Yes, actually, I'm
They
pretty
shoved
sure.
everything in there. They shoved everything in there.
Let me see if I can grab the, like, Japanese text.
What I
and
heard
double-check
from
it.
what I heard from Vesper about in kaiju size, I'm just picturing, come on, give us support and Pachi's anti-kaiju, because that'd be fucking hilarious.
Yes, the term in Japanese is, I think, just Makai, Demon World.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just generically means the demon realm, and then they like made it into a thing much later. This is still, I think, Yeah, this is still pre-GX. This is Rise of Destiny. So,
well, it's one of those in general where it like the Dark World just became a catch-all term that where it muddies the waters, especially in the TCG of like what is a Dark World card, because like it's constantly referred to.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to run through the spell trap cards, which showcase what's going on with Inpachi. Those of you with sensitive eyes, look away now. First, it's double attack.
Yeah, just yeah, forgot about this one.
Yeah. So this shows our boy the Marauding Captain with 2 swords. He's in a lot of other card art as well, and he will be a recurring character in this. I would have to double-check exactly how his story works, but I'm pretty sure that at some point the Marauding Captain either ends up in the different dimension or the Dark World, which is why he's beset by demons and shit. One of which is an evil possessed tree.
And also at some point in feudal Japan.
Yeah. Double attack is a really like weird old school power card. It's from like the Lost Millennium. It says, and it's been reprinted like once. Discard. It's also never been printed post PCST, so bear with me. Discard 1 monster card from your hand to the graveyard, not the GY. Select 1 monster on your side of the field with a lower level than the discarded monster. The selected monster can attack twice this turn. So it's like, you know, a -2 for 2 attacks, and it's level locked. But I could see some like monster heavy OTK strats being just like, fuck it, you know, I've got some bricks, we can get rid of them. But it's a pretty bad card still, but it's funny.
Sometimes bad cards can still be bad, but in a way that just feels entertaining.
Yes.
What's the law of the normal kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like this is a terrible card, but it has such an absurd payoff. You will get people who are like, but I want to make it. I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So our next phase, also showcasing that I think Inpachi gets canonically huger every time he switches forms. This is 2-man cell battle. So you can see the captain here almost getting his lights punched out by Blazing Inpachi. I guess Inpachi is a FromSoft boss where, like, you think he's just a normal encounter, and then you kill the normal him, and he fucking grows twice as tall and on fire for phase 2. And you can see that Gagagigo is here, and he's either pogging or stunned right now.
Sorry, I just pictured normal Inpachi dying, coming back as Blazing, and he just hear fling plong from fucking Dark Souls.
So also 2-man cell battle is funny because 2 of these 3 monsters are normals. And its effect is of 2-man cell battle, which is just in Japanese, Tsumen Cell Batoru. It is a continuous spell card that says during each player's end phase, the turn player can summon a 1 level 4 normal monster from their hand. By the way, I'm chat and fellows, I'm already cooking a weird Oops All Normals cube. Normal bullshit cube, go.
Yes.
Put all the Inpachis, put all the Gagagigos in there. I can think of something. We can do something funny. Put all the non-effect extra deck monsters. We can get a little silly, chat. I'll save that one for later. But yeah, so this is just, you know, showing that Inpachi continues to be a menace. Continuing on with our next card where shit gets even weirder. This card, by the way, is like still about Blazing Inpachi, but is way fucking later. This is the trap card United Front. Once again, Gagigo and Marauding Captain are shoulder to shoulder against Blazing Inpachi, and the other guy is Invader of Darkness. A card from Invasion of Chaos, a level 8 Dark Fiend with 2900 attack who says your opponent can't activate quick play spell cards. That's it.
Oh, it's the penalty game guy.
Yeah. Also, by the way, this card was released in 2016. Look how fucking sick Blazing Inpachi is in this rendering style.
Yeah,
Fire
look at him go.
But he looks really cool, and like it's a really cool fire design.
Yeah. Also, once again, I like that like Blazing Inpachi is shoulder to shoulder with Invader of Darkness. Like that guy's a 2900 level 8 fiend. Like, and Blazing Inpachi is like, nah, man, I was cool as him.
Yeah.
It's very funny. So what this card does is it's a normal trap that says, discard a monster, target a face-up monster on the field. Its attack and defense become the discarded monster's attack and defense until the end of this turn. Monsters you control can't attack directly the turn you activate this card. So it's another, like, weird monster tech card. Still, if you're playing a deck that has, like, large monsters in it that can brick, could be very funny. And it is a trap card, so, like, it's basically a battle trick. Your opponent goes, I declare attack. You go, United Front, bozo. So, yes, very silly. But our next card art, moving still into the Inpachis zone. Because this is a super wacky one, and I think I will pull up a second card for this, but it's Backfire.
Mm-hmm.
And on this art is Backfire getting fucking blasted by
Chop Man.
Yes, everybody's favorite weirdo card who says I heart Chop on his forehead. It's Chop Man the Desperate Outlaw.
You know, it's Al Snow.
So I just gotta pull up his fucking who, by the way, Chop Man's OCG name is Kyo Akuhan Chopuman, Heinous Criminal Chop Man.
Heinous criminal.
Chop Man is also a dog shit old school zombie pack filler card. When he's flipped summon, you can equip an equip spell to him.
Isn't being a zombie basically the idea that he's one of those dead guys that's just so evil that he got back to life?
He's almost as bad as Karate Man or Is it Kickman or Karate Man? I forget.
Karate Man is a card, yes. I think there may also be a Kickman. But yeah, Backfire is basically, I don't know what kind of weird, like, Squid Game type shit is going on, but Chop Man chops Blazing Inpachi, and I think he's fucking dying.
He does not seem to be enjoying what's happening.
Yeah, he's not having a good time. Which kind of makes sense. Backfire is a card that we actually had in our recent Fire and Ice draft, and I think it stayed in the cut. It's a continuous trap card that says, if a face-up fire monster you control is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. A kind of card that, you know, back in the day, appearing in Ancient Sanctuary and the Fire structure deck, you know, back in the Deus. Though, God, they reprinted that in fucking structure deck Soulburner? What's wrong with you, Konami?
It was also just one of those things where, in the ancient olden times, Yu-Gi-Oh was trying to, I don't want to say, they're trying to mirror the concept of attributes having play types, where fire's the burn archetype to go with Magic's red, wins the bounce archetype, like.
Yeah.
And
they have sub-themes to the different attributes, kind of like Magic's Color Pie, which is also funny because Yu-Gi-Oh! Has 6 normal attributes, and apparently there were, like, at some points in Magic's history, they've thought about having a 6th color, and just they're like, nah, 5 is good, we're locked in.
A long time ago, they made a joke of, like, what if we made a 6th color and it was purple?
I mean, I think that could be cool just because I'd love to see purple cards, but I like shiny cardboard.
That's just a red and blue deck.
I would probably go for a 7-fold color theme if I ever needed it with tribes. But yeah, so Fire has always been one of the strongest burn strats in the game.
Yeah.
Like most consistently, and so Kick Fire can turn any fire deck into a burn strat. if you're willing to work. And yes, by the way, speaking of the Kickman, welcome to another card that was printed, 1,000 years later for no reason. It's Kickfire, which shows the opposite of this, which is the Kickman can apparently kick down the Woodborg Inpachi.
Yeah, sadly, our boy is dead after being resurrected again.
And we have not brought him back.
And just so you know, that does in fact say "I heart kick" on the top of his forehead.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm going to grab him because Kickman is just the opposite of Heinous Criminal Chopman. He says "I heart kick," he kicks. He's another 3-star zombie with 1100 attack. He says if he's special summoned, equip an appropriate equip spell from your graveyard.
He's the MVP of the 5D's prison duel.
Yeah.
He looks like it says "I love dick" on his head.
No, it's kick, but yeah, I can see that. So this is basically like Kickfire is just like Backfire 2.0. They did a different joke.
Yeah.
And
this is like destroyed by effect. It does the burn, or like gets a counter, and then
once
you can
per turn,
kill it.
Soft once per turn. When a face-up fire monsters you control is destroyed by a card effect, place a counter on this card for each destroyed fire monster. During either player's standby phase, you can send this card to the graveyard, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent for each counter on this card. So,
this is just the shittiest wave motion cannon of all time.
Yeah.
Like 2 decades after wave motion cannon was printed.
Oh yeah, no. This is Cosmo Blazar. This is like in the Xyz format. It's the like most convoluted way for them to retrain Backfire, and you can tell that I think Konami isn't happy that they did this because Kickfire has been printed once. As I noted, Backfire was reprinted in the Soulburner structure deck in like 2019, like late Vrains format.
With Backfire, it's a shit card, but it at least accomplishes something happening at every point in the game state. Whereas Kickfire, they just were like, hey, we had the Chop Man, we had the Kick, we had this other guy. We should do something else with the Inpachi card with this guy. And you could clearly tell they had no real, they had no like plan for it. They like someone in creative said, hey, make a Kickfire. Who
somebody said, let's do some nostalgia shit, and they were very confused. And they were like, sure, I guess we'll do Kickman because we didn't do that before.
Sometimes it can be that way with pack filler. They gotta put cards out.
And now we're gonna do a card that some of you may not realize it has an Inpachi reference in it. Sorry, my throat was very dry for a sec. Hold on, let me sip some water. But it's a card I hope many content watchers on the internet know very well. It's Memory of an Adversary. Now, I can understand why when you start Master Duel and you pick this starter deck, you don't understand it. But there's like 5 guys in this card. So.
Oh, yeah, he's holding Inpachi's head.
Yes, Marauding Captain is currently telling the Invader of Darkness and Go Giga Gaga Gigo not to kill his friend, Freed the Matchless General, who is going back to the ban list another week. That's okay. It's not actually the matchless. Well, we banned one Freed, not the original Matchless General Freed, but you know what I mean. And meanwhile, Go Giga is holding Inpachi's head.
Like, it's a weird mix of like it's way later or is it? It's weird.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It looks like Go Gaga Giga has just killed Inpachi and Invader from the Dark World or whatever his name was.
He's still there. He's just like in a chokehold. He's just kind of like being.
Yeah. Yeah, like he's winning.
If I may, so our member in the chat pointed out the Wikipedia has an OTK strategy for Kickfire. May I read out?
Go ahead.
May I read out the scenario?
Sure.
You must have a Searing Firewall, a Bonfire Colossus, and a Flamvell Fire Dog in your hand, as well as at least 2 level monsters in your graveyard. So this is a 6-card combo. You will also need to have set Kickfire in a previous turn. This set card and a set Laval Miller makes the perfect start to this OTK. Also, having 2 more Kickfires set can guarantee that OTK does 4k damage, and battle damage should finish the opponent off. You must first have 2 levels in your grave. Activate Searing Firewall and banish 2 or more if you have them, and summon as many tokens as possible using its ability. Then you special summon Bonfire Colossus from your hand, then a second effect occurs. If you have not already played Kickfire by now, do so before the resolution of the Bonfire's ability. It destroys 2 of your tokens. This puts counters on your Kickfire, allowing its effect to be used next turn. Multiple Kickfires can easily do massive damage to the opponent. Which is just... Man, there are psychotics. Just psychotic people who see this card like, no, I can do an OTK.
I mean, yeah, no, like this is why I understand why every time somebody tells MVT on New Cards PogChamp that a card is broken, he's very skeptical, even if they have a combo video, because every Yu-Gi-Oh combo video is just, here's what I would do if I had the perfect hand. Let me put back all the cards that don't matter. Here. And it's like, okay, cool, great. Neat. What do you do the rest of the time? What do you do if the deck doesn't draw the 1-card combo?
Yeah, like if it's a 1-card combo, I'm like, okay, that's neat. Anything beyond like a 1.5 card combo, which is just like one, like you have to have this card and another card just to discard it or for fodder. I'm like, anything beyond a 1.5 card combo, I'm like, that's unrealistic. Yeah. You're smoking crack.
Also, so if you first of all, actually, I should say this bit of trivia because it's funny. The way Memory of an Adversary is written in Japanese is something that is unimportable into English, but the kanji says Memory of a Rival. The furigana is written Memory of a Friend. So it's like multi-layered, but again, you can't do that in English. We don't have 2 scripts, so Memory of an Adversary, I think. Yeah, I guess that's our best pun, but I think that might be a little too funny for, again, a card that is arguably pretty serious. But if you don't know what Memory of an Adversary does, it's actually a really annoying little card. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you take damage equal to the attacking monster's attack, so it's effect damage, first of all. Then, if you do, banish that monster, so you only banish it if you take the damage. During the end phase of your opponent's next turn, you special summon that monster to your field. Just a cute little trick to get out your opponent's Monsterinos and hopefully not die. We appreciate not dying. That means it's time, though, to put a pin in our Inpachi storyline, because I feel like, sadly, we've forgotten about Woodborg because the last time we saw him was Kickfire, which is an awful card. A stinky, stinky card. I'd love to see more Konami. Honestly, also, Inpachi as, like, the continuing adventures of Woodborg as, like, a fire machine. Not necessarily an archetype, but, like, a little fire machine theme. That could be cool. We don't really do that a lot. There's a couple fire machines, but it's not really been thematic, so.
We keep going to the before times.
Yeah. So let's start talking about agents. First, like I said, I will pull up Sanctuary of the Sky. This is a card that is referenced a lot in the agent's card text. Not all of them, but many of them. So you kind of need a basic understanding here. Sanctuary in the Sky is just literally that in Japanese. This is a field spell that is very simple. Battle damage to control of a fairy monster involving that monster becomes 0. And yes, I believe this is post-PCST. It's not greatly written, but that's what it does. If you have a fairy, you take 0 damage from battles involving them. They're still destroyed, mind you. Though there are some cards that cannot be destroyed, so you can do some funny things. Also, by the way, in a very funny case, once again, also by the way, showing you that the TCG has always had slightly different product lines. In the OCG, Sanctuary in the Sky was released in a set called The Sanctuary in the Sky. By that point, I think the OCG sets were still staying smaller because we were done playing catch-up. So to create Ancient Sanctuary, the TCG kit bashed Pharaoh's Inheritance and Sanctuary in the Sky together to create Ancient Sanctuary. So that's why you get fairy shit and like the creator in the same, rumble.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sanctuary in the Sky is a card that is referenced by a lot of fairy archetypes and themes, but like I said, it is going to be name-checked by several agent cards directly, so we had to establish what it does. On paper, it's really simple, and honestly, that's probably why there are, like... there's got to be, like, 4 or 5 cards. Oops, sorry, I forgot to reset my loop on my music. But there's got to be, like, 4 to 5 cards that say treat this card's name as Sanctuary in the Sky on the field.
It's the Umi of fairy of just fairy nonsense.
Yeah. And to be fair, for Umi, obviously Umi Control has been a deck for a long time. And also Umi Beatdown has been a deck for a long time. Shout out, by the way, to MBT's newest series. He got tired of the fact that SEMA wanted to quit History of Jank, I guess, and decided to make, his own Jank series. But far from playing 2 structure deck Umi Beats, not very entertaining for Session 1. It does remind me, though, how much LOB format sucks ass. And you're not actually nostalgic for it. It was terrible. It only was funny because we didn't know what the fucking rules were.
Yeah, that really is the big thing where it's just it really just is the nature of just like the nostalgia goggles, nostalgia, whatever you want to call it. Like,
yeah.
And it's even worse when you think about that. The Legend of Blue Eyes is like 6 sets kit bashed together.
Yeah, it's because the first booster sets in Japanese were very tiny. They did eventually start picking them up, but booster releases have always been smaller in the OCG. So they crammed a lot of good shit in there. But yeah, Sanctuary is a card that does kind of function in that Umi role. I don't think Sanctuary Control has ever been like a thing, but there are enough Sanctuary cards and enough Sanctuary replacers that it still sees its way into some fairy-type decks. And so, by the way, the way we're going to handle this is rather than try and, like, scramble it up too much chronologically, especially because most of the later stuff is going to be the one Retrain of Venus and the new Hyperions and a couple of the agents. We're just going to do this in, planetary order. You know all about Your Very Excellent Mother and the 9 pizzas.
I feel like they could make a Helios. And there's already Helios.
No, that's Hyperion. Hyperion is the sun.
Okay.
I never connected
There's room
for some other shit, especially because, spoilers, there is a Pluto here, though it's weird.
Is there a moon?
Yes, also. That's also a weird. So to spoil it for everybody, Pluto and Moon are extra deck monsters. So they're kind of playing around with that. But I think that they could still do some stuff with other planetary bodies. Like, obviously, there are many other, like, famous moons you could make into extra deck monsters. You could also get into, because you're fake anyway, you could get into fake planets. Like, you could have a, Vulcan, that hypothetical. There's a lot of, deep Kuiper Belt object planets that we've hypothesized that are probably not real. So there are some options there that they could take to expand this, but we're just going to do it in planet order because that will mostly cover all the old cards and also some of the new cards, and agents are not really big enough to start splitting hairs on as a discrete theme. I think this was still off mic, but we mentioned a little when we were doing the talk about like what I did for the thumbnail. Agents as a deck, even though they've had a structure deck, have not really, I believe, been super coalesced as a meta strategy. They are just... The good agents are just teched into lots of generic fairy strategies like counter fairies, fairy synchro, etc.
Yeah.
So our first one is Agent... I should say, the Agent of Wisdom, Mercury. He's a guy. He's a blue-green angel man.
Reminds me of the Daft Punk music videos.
I will say, again, this is Ancient Sanctuary, so we're still pre-GX. This is a very old-school Yu-Gi-Oh! Design that I like. He's got, like... I don't want to say that, like, they got Kaz himself to draw this face, but somebody in the Konami team knew how to draw Kaz-type faces very well. This is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Character face this guy's got on.
Yeah.
And, the color scheme and kind of, like, the facial and body markings are kind of, like, mystical. That's cool. We've got a pretty good render of the planet Mercury back there. The sun's pretty big. Mercury's right there. It's a piece of shit, useless rock. But it's there. And he's got a weird tablet book thing. He is Wisdom, I guess. So this is a Light Fairy level 4. 0 attack, 1700 defense. Once returned during your standby phase, if you controlled this face-up card in your monster zone and have no cards, or had no cards in your hand at the end of your opponent's last turn, draw an extra card. This guy sucks. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
This is terrible.
That's nice, but, like, good luck ever getting that to work.
Basically, the idea is that this guy is like the prototype of Bubble Man, which getting Bubble Man to proc was already pretty hard. But basically, Agent of Wisdom has to be face up during your opponent's end phase, and you have to have no cards in your hand. You may then draw an extra card for turn. It's a neat concept, but if you've puked out your entire hand and have no cards and somehow have like, even back in the old school days, somehow just this guy has survived face up, you're probably in trouble. I don't think
also true. You're probably
extra
not
draw
in a
is
good
gonna
way.
save you. But this is a deck that turns into a synchro deck later. They add several tuners to this strategy as time goes on. So, like, he's a level 4 fairy who's light, so he's not, like, the worst guy in the world. You could probably try a strat where you used cards like Shining Angel or Nova Summoner to summon him out, at the end of a string of tutors. There are probably better fairies to summon, but if you did somehow have no cards in hand, I could see it. But again, this is one of those strats where, like, actually back in the old days of, like, 2006, actually no, 2004 even is the original printing of this card in Ancient Sanctuary. You do not usually vomit your whole hand out onto the board in those days. Like, you're going to have a couple of cards that you want to normal summon, or you cannot special summon because you don't have an excess of that, or spell cards that aren't going to be relevant right away. So it's like, again, it's an okay concept, but it's not going to fucking happen. And that's very funny because our next card is, I would argue, demonstrably good because she's been in stuff. And it was part of a very funny deck from our Prog series. It's the Agent of Creation, Venus.
Look at us. Look at us.
And I will also pull up the card art because it's very simple and it is a vanilla for Mystical Shine Ball as well. But feel free to say something nice about Venus while I'm cooking.
I always thought they were kind of like more like metal statues, but no, they're just oddly skin tones.
I think they're supposed to, like, invoke some of their, like, planetary theme colors. Venus is kind of like a orangey, yellowy color to the naked
I guess
eye.
what you say, like, I think if the agents is like, they'd be like, I guess it's almost originally like the lineup in it. Some kind of like weird 80s like fantasy show.
Yeah, I think it's not really firmly. Actually, I can double check because I think the agents do have, because they've had some structure decks. I think they do have some lore tidbits. Let me double check. Sadly, no solo mode yet, but let me double check there. Let's see, Agents Part 1. Oh, they've got a really simple tip card. So does that actually have? Oh no, okay, those are just tip cards. There's no lore. So what I would assume then is that one of the, like, old school, beliefs about the universe is the idea of, like, celestial spheres, especially pre-heliocentric, but even post, like, heliocentric models of the universe, or solar system, people have realized that, like, the planets are on certain orbits. So I assume the idea is that because, we associate the heavens with the celestial spheres, the celestial bodies, is that each of these agents, because they're fairy or angel type, are supposed to be like the angels that represent those celestial bodies and thus usually invoke certain virtues. I do want to say that while some of these make sense, some of them don't. Wisdom for Mercury kind of makes sense. That's associated a lot. Agent of Creation Venus is apparently literally translated, which is a little weird to me. Creation is not, I think, really associated with Venus. You know, beauty, intelligence, that kind of stuff. Even war sometimes. Take a look at Ishtar. But still, we're working. And it's very funny that she has 3 different colored Mystic Shine Balls. And you can also see Mystical Shine Ball, which was just, let me double check.
It's just a 500, like level 2 vanilla.
Its name in the OCG was Holy Shine Ball. Its flavor text reads, "A soul of light covered by a mystical shine. When you see its beautiful shape, your dreams will come true." So yeah, it's just like generic soul ball guy. They can apparently change colors. Mystical Shine Ball it's very funny to me the way Venus works, because I feel like obviously when they did actually retrain her into Agent of Destruction Venus, which we'll look at in a second, which is much later, they still kept the like shine ball effect, you know, kind of reversed, because I feel like they're trying to do some haha chaos theming here. If Agent of Creation Venus came out like 10 years later, maybe even five years later, she would summon tokens with those stats instead. But no, you gotta waste deck space on this shit. Which is, if you don't know what Agent of Creation Venus does, she is a Light Fairy level 3, 1600 attack, 0 defense, so for a level 3, not terrible stats. You can pay 500 LP, special summon a Mystical Shine Ball from your hand or deck. No once per turn on that, so if you want to go 15 deep, you can get three extra guys.
And look, if just as a random example, just no reasoning at all. If you have like a luminous spark, you get 3 1K beaters, which can be enough.
Especially because herself, she'd be 21 on that.
Yeah.
Also, there have been several fairy cards throughout history which are like, hey, you can special summon this card by banishing some fairies, or tributing some fairies, or if you control a lot of fairies on your board, you can summon this, or if you special summon other fairies, you can special summon this. Like, there are a lot of strategies that make this work pre-Link era, or even pre-Synchro era, I think, when this was really took off. And also, that's still, like, good. Like, obviously, this is very ashable, but, like, if you're willing to waste the deck space, this is still very functional. Get 4 materials on board for a mere 1,500 LP? We could be cooking.
It's really good for actually rank 2 plays, because it's like, the only Alchemy part is only from deck.
Nope.
Hand. I think... Oh, in hand? Okay.
Yeah. If they're in your graveyard, you're fucked. That's what Agent of Destruction handles, but it's hand or deck, so they're not garnets, technically.
Doesn't the does Reverse Venus handle... It handles Grave and Banish, right?
Yes, literally. Banish her in your graveyard. Also, her card art is way more metal. I'm ready to pull her up if we're ready to move on. Yeah, actually, I could probably just cover up Mystic Shine Ball so you can get the side by side.
I kind of wish they made the inverted version of all the other ones as... Because it's like, the other version, it's not really a retrain, it's more meant to be a counterpoint opponent.
I think what they're going for here does make some sense. Because, so, Venus's name in Greek is Phosphoros, which in Latin is usually translated as Lucifer. You know, Venus is the morning star. So, knowing how much Japan loves to cram Satan into things, they just think he's real neat, guys.
He's just cool.
I could see them thematically going for a Dark Venus just because. But also, hey, these guys are all, well, they're almost all light fairies. I think some of them are different types, but most of them are light fairies. And so if you introduce dark fairies, hey, shit, we're playing chaos now. Actually, also, that's a good question. So, no, it's 6, so that would be 9. If Venus was a level 4, that would mean that Agent of Creation Venus is a technical 1-card combo to make Chaos Angel. But the math is off by just 1 level. But yeah, so this is Agent of Destruction Venus. Once again, you can tell this card was drawn way later. This was Battle of Chaos in 2022. Again, probably why they decided to go for that slight chaos theming. And she really just do be a goth Venus. Like, she's purple now.
I don't want to say corrupted, but it's just like Dark Venus, because it's like,
Yeah.
there's just way more going on, because it's later, the design, like, over 10 years later.
Yeah. Almost, 20 years later. Like, it was 2022, so, it's been a while. But I think, some of the space backdrop effects are a little better. Like, they've got more stars in the background. They got some space dust. Venus looks still relatively the same. They probably used a render or many other, like, super zoom photos. The Mystic Shine Balls are evil now, I guess. Or dark, at least. I will notice that her facial structure, like, is a little different. Like, it's kind of the same, but it's definitely a different artist drawing it, so it looks a little different. I think they also made her hairstyle a little funnier, a little fancier.
Like, yeah, like, her outer proportions are a bit different, too.
Yeah.
Nope. No, she has legs. Never mind.
Oh, Loss has had to dip. He said he'll be back later. If we're still here later, we'll see. Like I said, there's not that many agents, but Venus is, like, literally reversed. Destruction Venus, I should say, is literally reversed Venus. It's a Dark Fairy, Tuna, level 3, 0 attack, 1600 defense. You can banish Agent of Creation Venus from your graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. You can pay LP in multiples of 500. For each 500 paid, target one Mystical Shine Ball that's banished or in your graveyard, special summon them. And I like how they phrase this as a negative, but put them at the bottom of the deck when they leave the field. So, like, Agent of Destruction fully loops Mystic Shine Balls. And she is a tuner. You can only use one Agent of Destruction effect per turn once that turn. I'm going to be honest, Konami, you probably didn't need to put that only one effect per turn on there. That would probably, if you could use each effect once per turn, that would probably make this card a lot better. But even so, it's a very interesting strategy as kind of a backup. You can now do Agent of Creation Venus, link all that shit away, and then banish Venus to summon Destruction and have Destruction loot back all those Mystic Shine Balls as synchro fodder. Just not in the same turn. Which is the annoying part. But she's still normal summonable, so you can make it work. Also, fairies are pretty easy to summon. But yeah, so honestly, like, pretty good card design and a great way to keep a card that has been technically meta-relevant just, like, 10 years ago and also in really fringe ways, bring it back. Now we have another one. This one was also later. This is when they did decide with the Lost Sanctuary structure deck to make this a little more consistent and modern, but it's Agent of Mystery, This one you can tell is later. This was like 2011. So got a slightly different art style. I can definitely see what you were saying of, like, thinking they're originally statues, because, like, Earth's color scheme here is very marble, but we've got very, like, bright green and blue wings. We have
they're all, like, colored after, like, the colored planet.
Yeah. And we've got like, you can't see all of it, but that's a really good render of Earth back there.
Yeah.
So, like, again, pretty good art style, very consistent over the years. I can't really tell what gender presentation Earth is supposed to have.
I get the impression it's meant to be, like, boy, but it also can be ambiguous.
Because we got a lot of, like, frilly veils and scarves, but I think we're wearing, like, a wrestling unitard under all that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like one of those anime suits of, like, it's got shorts.
I mean, no, this. By the way, I will say this Japanese anime as fuck. Design. This is like honestly, most of the rest of the aesthetics don't really go back to, like, a Saint Seiya or Sailor Moon, but, like, you can tell that somebody was thinking about, like,
I mean, yeah, I would say, like,
space
it's got that kind
of drawing this.
It's got that vibe.
It definitely feels intentionally like just young in design, which I think kind of fits in with the general vibe Earth always kind of has when you get to talking about like personifying planets. It's just a weird running theme where like Earth is either like this very demure Mother Nature, or they're a child just because it's a young world or something.
Yeah.
It's just
I know
a
some
weird
people that have like nothing but it's a
thing.
mix between both, and it's weird.
Yeah. But yeah, so Agent of Mystery Earth is a level 2 light fairy tuna. This is their first tuner when they decided to make this deck more synchro-y. When this card is normal summoned, add one the agent monster from your deck to your hand except Earth. And if it's Sanctuary in the Sky as a field, you can add a Master Hyperion from your deck to your hand instead. So, yes, this is the first time they decided to really juice this up and make this deck a little more consistent. And they gave it a tuner. They gave it a normal summon searcher. You know, we got a Stratos in here. And also we have that thing where we need Sanctuary in the Sky.
Right.
We're going back to the old school, though, with our next one. This is a guy that I'm a little sad Loth is going to miss, because I'm sure he would just go... This is your boy, Agent of Force, Mars. He's very red.
This guy is... You can definitely tell a slight change in art style with this guy. He's...
Yeah, we're slightly different. Like, all these guys were released in Ancient Sanctuary, but we're going for a different tone here. That, or we once again got a very different reference involved for this, because this guy is, like, weird muscly. Like, look at his, like his side torso muscles.
He's got, like, I guess what I'd like to call muscle scales.
Yes, he has that scaly effect on his, like I said, side muscles. His arms are ripped as shit. He's got a very weird hammer thing.
It almost looks like a bident at the bottom.
Yeah, he's got not quite a bident, because it's not really a fork, but it's like a crescent blade. Or it's pinchy. I don't know what he's going for there. We're keeping our theme of these guys sticking out their hands, though, doing weird things. And yes, he's very red. That's it. So Agent of Force Mars is a, despite his name, is a level 3 light fairy with 0 attack, 0 defense. He is unaffected by spell cards or effects. While you control Sanctuary in the Sky and your LP are lower than your opponent's, he gains attack and defense equal to the difference. This guy just sucks. This is not a good guy.
Yeah, he's just not great.
Even for 2004 Yu-Gi-Oh!, this is just like... I mean, okay, it's cool. This guy is from, like I said, from 2004. He is unaffected by spell cards or spell effects. Neat. He's a level 3/0/0 who gains attack equal to the difference between my life points and my opponent's life points. Which means that if I attack with him directly, our life points will just even out and he'll be 0/0 again. Konami, it doesn't work.
A game bug.
Also, he gets this effect while you have Sanctuary in the Sky on the field, which means that... Oh, wait, sorry. It's higher than your opponent's difference, so it is... that's even worse. You have to be ahead for this to matter. Which I guess is more likely when you have Sanctuary in the Sky, because you're not likely to be losing as much life points by battle, but still, it's like... How big is this guy supposed to get, you know? Because it doesn't matter. It's a win more card, I should say. Like, it doesn't matter that he's like, oh, you're at 2,000, I'm at 8,000. My guy is 6,000 attack. Cool.
Whoa.
That's
Whoa.
big, but you're already winning by a lot. I don't get it. I'm sure that there are strats where, like, back in the day, this could get very funny big, but I can't imagine this card being very, very strong anyway. I guess the idea, since it's his attack and his defense, and he's unaffected by spell effects, like, hypothetically, if you're way ahead and your opponent, like, hits you with a Raigeki or a Dark Hole, like, you kind of have room to insulate against a comeback because he's just fucking large. But still. I don't think it's super great.
He's built in for that aroma agent deck.
Next we have weirdly the Agent of Miracles, Jupiter. This is another guy who's also later. This is the same time as Earth. You can kind of tell because the coloring and lines are a little different. He's still kind of in theme with the other guys, but he's a different kind of big buff angel.
I just think all of them really could use a rework. Or at least,
I haven't seen. Is this a new guy? I've never seen
this guy's in the structure deck from 2011, so he's not that new.
Oh.
But
Just
he
kind
came out
of
of Earth. I assume he came out of Earth.
Yeah, he was the structure deck was also when they dropped Earth, so not really sure what he's doing with his little rainbow energy blast. I guess he's getting ready for Pride Month. I do kind of like the composition of his outfit because he's got like an interesting triangle sash thing with a cape, but also he's got like a girdle, big skirts. He's very buff. I'm not sure if those are supposed to be like tattoos or rings around his fingers because they're the same color as the markings on his body. So does he just have weird ring markings on all his fingers?
I think markings make sense because this when we get into weird stuff where like where we're leaning into Roman mythology but not going all the way because like all the planets are named after like Roman gods except for Earth.
Like honestly, this guy and I think arguably Mercury and Mars, not so much Venus, but maybe a little. But I feel like these guys are almost like kind of like repping the Egyptian style of old school Yu-Gi-Oh. But yes, he's named Jupiter, and he's also a really buff angel, which is like winged humans is not actually that classical mythology.
Unless you're One Piece. But fucking yeah, I mean like this guy's neat. Like I don't think the agents, except maybe Mars, have off designs. Like you just kind of look at this guy like, okay, I get it, I see it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really feel like much. I don't know.
It could be a little more.
Angels.
Yeah.
Like Earth, at least with being kind of like that white tone and then like the blue and green is like you look at Agent Earth and go like, okay, yeah, I see it. You've got these very vibrant colors. Jupiter is like colored like actual Jupiter with like a lot of oranges and browns and stuff, and you can see the red spot up there. But also like
the markings could be the red spot. Then I just realized that
he does have a little dot on his chest.
That might be.
I mean, Jupiter is pretty interesting because it's got like that very striated cloud formations, which are fairly unique, I think, among the gas giants. Like the rest of them are more uniform in color. So like it's cool that they try and apply these artistic concepts, but also like I don't see Jupiter and go, the planet of miracles.
Yeah, that's definitely one where I'm not really sure what's going on there.
Yeah. So this guy is a level 4 light fairy. He's got 1800 attack and 1100 defense, so he's a pretty normal stat line beater. Once per turn, you can banish the agent monster from your graveyard. Target a light fairy you control. It gains 800 attack until the end of this turn. This is a fucking 2005 effect. Once per turn, though, both of these are soft once per turns. You can discard a fairy monster, target one of your banished light fairy monsters, special summon it. Sanctuary in the Sky must be on the field to activate and resolve this effect. So if you've got Sanctuary, his second effect is useful. It lets you get back your banished fairies. And you can, if you want to special summon them, you can use his first effect, which you can do all the time to banish it and swollenate somebody. But it's very clunky, I think, even for 2011's Yu-Gi-Oh! And like I said, that first effect, banish a agent to give a light fairy you control 800 attack, that's a fucking card effect from like late Duel Monsters, early GX type shit. That's Bazoo the Soul Eater right there. Like that's not that great. I get that that's to set up the combo, but the combo requires you to have the field spell activated as well and discard a guy. So like, I don't know. The card advantage is a little clunky for a guy that's just otherwise an 1800 beater. And it's really funny to me that like I said, half these guys decent to like straight up good. Like Earth for what it is as a Stratos, pretty solid. The bonus effect if you have Sanctuary, perfectly normal to get a guy who's technically a different archetype. We already talked about how Venus has a lot of uses, to be honest. Like, there's a lot of flexibility, a lot of longevity, and like Destruction as a retrain is a cute loop. But some of the other guys are not so good. So, funnily enough, like I said, Jupiter was released in that second batch, like 6 or 7 years later. In Ancient Sanctuary, they did have a boss, because everybody needs a main deck boss. This is, once again, talking about names that are weird, Agent of Judgment Saturn.
Oh, what's going on with this art? What?
So the Saturn in the back is very blurry. And for some reason, despite the fact that most of them had color schemes that matched their planets, Agent of Saturn...
incredibly purple.
Yes, very purple. I'm not sure I can follow it. Yeah, like I said, the background Saturn is cool, but it also showcases that this guy doesn't really match the color scheme of his own planet. And I don't get why he's purple.
I think it's to make it different all the other ones.
Yeah, it's just it's not bad, it's just weird. But yeah, like I said, this one is the quote unquote boss monster. So Agent of Judgment Saturn is a level 6 light fairy, 2400 attack, 0 defense, monarch type beat. While your LP are higher than your opponent's, you contribute this card and inflict damage to your opponent equal to the difference. You must control Sanctuary in the Sky to activate and resolve this effect. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. So this card's useless. Even back in the day, Konami was putting arbitrary restrictions to stop the extra burn damage strats, and it didn't work.
One thing that just kind of bothers me about the agents in general is like, because Sanctuary in the Sky, I get that like it negates battle, it just circumvents battle damage, so your life points in theory should always be larger than your opponent's. The downside is just like that there are just so many weird little shenanigans that come about with these cards, like what you said with Saturn, like okay, you tribute this one tribute monster that just got onto the field to burn in a perfect world 4K to win the game. Like that's it. Like that's the only way this card
at 4K, you're at 8K, you tribute him, sack him off. Like honestly, this card would still probably happen once in a blue moon if you could do it in main phase 2. I think that's the only time this could be relevant, especially because once again, you need Sanctuary in the Sky. You need to control it to activate and resolve this effect. So you need the field spell or the many cards that substitute for it active to get this effect out. Like, honestly, as just a naked fucking beater, because that is, I will say, one thing that Sanctuary decks are very good at, is summoning, like, tribute fodder, because you can run Nova Summoner and Shining Angel, I think, or is it Luminous Angel? Whatever the light summoner guy is. I think
it's a time card from 04 that just misses the mark entirely with 5 different restrictions on it.
But if you want an on-theme, level 6, basically, like I said, like Monarch type beat to get out there, like, not terrible. Won't be to summon Skull, but that's not on theme. So, there's room here, but it's still a little too well balanced for even 2004.
Yeah, it's a beater with an effect that actively just negates its responsibility of being a beater in deck building mantra.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. let's talk about, once again, card design that's super modern. This is Agent of Entropy Uranus. Was Agent of Death, by the way, in the OCG. Once again, don't know why the fuck that's Uranus or Uranus. That's named after the sky god, but sure, it's kind of dark blue and green, so, like, whatever, we're here. This card came out in Duelist Alliance. So this is, you know, right at the start of penned format. God, is this guy so edgy. Like, he's not bad. You can tell, again, that we've gone through the revolution process in the drawing, but, like, ooh, he's got 6 wings, and he's all wrapped up in bandages, and he's gray, and he has glowing eyes.
I think he's meant to be the lost.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense, because he's Uranus. He's not even the last one. It's again, much like Saturn, it's like the Japanese have, which they probably do, but, you know, I never actually watched Sailor Moon, but it's like they're looking at a different astrology chart, like they're getting their advice from a different weird old lady with a column in the newspaper. And so they are presenting themes to the planets that are not normally what we, the Western audience, assume. I am kind of surprised, though, that the TCG, even in 2014, did print Uranus straight up. That's a really easy edit if you want to avoid jokes. You can just say Uranus with an OU.
I feel with Uranus, they were like, man, if we change it, we're just gonna keep laughing at us. If we don't change it, we'll get the jokes.
Yeah,
fuck it.
We'll
man.
leave it. We're already changing it from Agent of Death to Agent of Entropy. Like, we'll just hope that the edge carries us through.
Yeah.
That said, despite how, like, kind of off-kilter this guy's art is, this is actually a really good card. I mean, it came out in 2014. You'd expect it.
Yeah,
so,
he's one of the more recent ones.
Yeah, Agent of Entropy is a Dark Fairy tuner, so he's already his dark counterpart, I guess. Level 5, he's got 2200 attack and 1200 defense. If Sanctuary of the Sky is on the field, free special summon. You can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can send the agent monster from your deck to the graveyard. If you do, this card's level becomes the level of the monster sent to the graveyard by this effect. This is a very modern card. He is a free special if you're playing your archetype field spell, or the, like I said, 4 cards which substitute for it. And he level fixes as a tuner. That's great. Also, he's a level 5 tuner, which is a nice number to have as well. So, like,
yeah,
this guy probably makes the cut in modern versions of his deck.
Level 5 tuner that can just drop on the board if you have your Umi on the board. Which, like, I mean, I want to say like when I need to double check it when the card came out. I'm sure I'm gonna be way off the mark because time is a flat circle.
It's true.
Time is a constant.
Oh yeah, so like only a few years before this was Quick Draw, like the iconic level 5 tuner summons from hand.
And Quick Draw has fucking restrictions.
Yeah, which one needs, it has restrictions, and you have to send a monster from your hand to the graveyard. Not this card.
No.
Send. So
this guy's like, I'm out, baby.
Yeah.
No,
you got that field spell? I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I returned after having to call up and be like, hey, what happened? And they're like, oh, yeah, no, the system fucked up. You're good?
Okay, good. Currently, OBS is doing our nightly dropped frames, so you may experience a little bit of buffering if you can hear me. It's okay, we're just looking at entropy. But I do want to say, this card's really good, because, like, this is very competitively designed. Like we said, he's effectively like your quick draw for the archetype, but he's not actually archetypal. But also, they did a cool thing here. They made this guy dark, which suddenly unlocks a lot of extra deck monsters you would not be able to access with your light type tuner. But also, you're probably still playing that guy. You're probably still playing Earth in this deck, so you still have access to that. And even now, keeps your options open for some of the Chaos, Synchro monsters, and changes up some stuff. So, no, this is actually a really good card, and you have a pretty flexible set of levels, because obviously some of them means you have to play them, but, you've got, in the agents, you've got, 4s, 2s, 3s, you have a 6 if you want to get really crazy. So, like, you can make this work, And Jupiter is a 4, so you don't have to play, like, Mars or something. So, like, really, again, like a very good card design for such a weird-looking, like, standout guy. Let me double-check when this one was out while I'm waiting for Ubius to catch up a little. Okay, this is a brand new card, so... They did finally add one more. They added our last planet in the Neo structure deck, which, by the way, I haven't brought this up before, but I should bring up now. And I think correctly because it didn't do anything, but the TCG Konami did not release the R version of the Lost Sanctuary structure deck that got packaged into Ghost from the Past 2. Which meant that these guys were kind of like pack filler. They're all at very high rarity, the new cards and the reprints, but they were not bundled all together into a structure deck. I know that bothered some people at the time, but also I feel like that was a smart move on their part because I don't actually know if people would have bought the Agent structure deck because I do not actually think that the new Agent cards and the reprints did enough to make the deck kind of stand out against, like, the last gasp of, Drytron plus Herald combo in terms of fairies. I do think there's still room for this deck to be playable, like at your locals level. And I think.
Well, yeah, like we said, there are plenty of just generic fairy nonsense you can splash into an Agent deck to just allow it to flourish a little harder. Like you have the Heralds, you have
If you like fairies, they work. So this is our one of our latest guys, Agent of Life, Neptune. Now we're leaning hard into that Roman mythology. He's actually got a trident. Also, this is another big buff dude, but like looking much more natural than Mars, even though he's in swollen. But also he's got a little veil.
Neptune feels far more just like statuesque, whereas Mars just feels like it feels like what the 90s thought buff guys were.
Yes.
Yeah, this looks like an actual like kind of bodybuilder dude.
Yeah. And he's got the kind of
also he's got like a veil.
Blue,
like...
yeah, the veil. He's got a weird hat. The funny little cap. Neptune's in the background there. There's some like rainbow sparkles, which could be drops of water. Like very good comp. I like this.
I am not sorry, but I feel like I've seen a design like this in some kind of like Jose story or some kind of.
Oh yeah,
somewhere.
no, I'm my first instinct, which I should not necessarily make that joke, but like I feel like if MBT did a new cards PogChamp on this card, if he was doing that 3 years ago, he would say
wood.
Well, he would say wood, but he would also say this guy look a little fruity. Joseph would say wood. Lots of people would say wood. Look at this man. Look how fucking ripped this guy is.
I don't think it's fruity, but I do feel like there are people that would be fruity aimed at him. Kind of, it's like that kind of vibe.
But yeah, no, Neptune's real good looking.
The one thing I'm bothered by the design, and this can just 100% be the angle, the trident just kind of stops.
Yeah,
you it's kind of blocked by his arm.
It's got a short handle. I think you can see like right here.
Yeah, I can
under
see
his,
it
like,
covers
bracelet.
up to like his upper arm.
There's a little bit, but it's a little short.
You can see right behind his bicep. You can see it going,
it's
but
a weird angle.
You would feel like a trident would go beyond his shoulder.
It should be a little longer. The perspective's a little weird. Go ahead, Locke.
Yeah, perspective. That was the word I was trying to.
It's the fucking trident is being held between his like fingers because it looks like he's not holding it like with his between his thumb and his
hand is a little.
This artist can't do hands. Oh no.
Yeah.
Also, I will say this: the trident looks like a 2D image, like oddly, like 2D as in actually flat compared to like the rest of the body.
I think this artist had a perspective problem where like they felt the need to show the trident like dead on. But also, they had to show him, like, arm out for some reason, so his posing and perspective is a little weird.
I will say, I've noticed this a lot with a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Art. It usually has a perspective issue, but usually because the art is not that big, it usually doesn't come up in, like, I guess.
I don't know what size they draw this as. Yeah, but it's
when you blow the art up, you'll suddenly notice some minor things. I'm like, ooh, but this is still a very very good art.
So I just realized he looks like the kind of man you'd see in a. Sorry, Omega. I know. Do you want me to solve?
No, tell me that's what we're supposed to do.
He looks like the kind of man you'd see in a cultivation manga who everyone swoons over because he's unbelievably hot. What the fuck?
I mean, you're
Okay,
right.
that is the same vibe I got too.
Yeah.
But
He's the hot guy in
not
Stardew
that genre,
Valley.
but yes, yeah.
He's the Stardew Valley man.
So, aside from this man's hotness, this is an effect monster.
Yeah.
Which is what I was trying to get at. Also, kind of retroactively, once again, improves Uranus. Because remember that before I said, kind of levels you could do with Uranus, one of the levels you couldn't do was 1. No such problem. This is a level 1 light fairy. 0 attack, 600 defense.
Yeah, his stats are kind of wild for just for the design, but
Yeah.
regardless.
But I think I see what they're going for with it. So first of all, you can discard this card, special summon an agent monster from your hand or graveyard except Neptune. Or, if Sanctuary Sky is on the field or in either graveyard, fuck you, Mirror Match, you can summon 1 Hyperion monster instead. Neither player can tribute a monster summon with this effect until the end of your opponent's turn. If this card is banished, you can add 1 Sanctuary in the Sky from your deck to your hand. You can use each effective Agent of Life Neptune once per turn. This is a wacky extender. Or starter.
This guy said, "Hey, kaijus, eat my ass."
Yeah. If you have Sanctuary in the Sky on the field, you can just turbo out one of the 2 main deck Hyperions. If you got one in your hand. I also love the mirror match effect.
Couldn't you summon Master Flare if you had properly synchroed him too? Because it's from field. It's
actually, it's
hand
true. It's
or
from
graveyard.
So if you get this guy later after they've gotten rid of him, you can summon him back as well. Yes. So really good recovery tool as an extender, or like I said, just as a starter, you can just use this guy as play 1 to get a guy out of your hand.
These are the kind of insane cards that they work both as extenders and just like starters, extenders. Any flexibility makes cards like these insane, and this card is going to be one of those. This is one of those modern cards. It gets put into a deck. It's just like a shot of adrenaline straight into their nonsense.
And like I said,
package.
It's the agents themselves are not
but not
juiced
incredible.
enough. But they're getting the bones. And like I said, the other thing is that this combos really well with the rest of your deck because this is a level 1 guy that you can possibly special summon for stuff. And also, again, you can send him from your deck to the graveyard with Uranus. Uranus is now a level 1 tuner, which level 1 tuners that are effectively free specials are really good. Like, that's very flexible if you want to do synchro claiming and stuff. So, yeah, that can be quite potent. So this is another one of those, like we said, like a shot of adrenaline cards that just... And I can understand why some people may have thought that this deck was going to have some real gas. I think the problem is still the payoff and the rest of the bones because, let me actually count them. Let's see. Mercury's kind of mid. The 2 Venuses are pretty good, though that means you have to run probably 3 Mystic Shine Balls, so you're losing a little deck space. Earth is pretty good. Mars sucks. Jupiter's okay. Saturn sucks. Uranus is good. So, half of them are playable and do come with a slight tax. So, you got to worry about your ratios and how much guts you're willing to put in the deck, especially because, as we've discussed, there's a lot of very good stuff. But let's start talking about the Sun, because there are a couple more The Agents, but they're in the extra deck. So let's talk about their old school bossy boys. First, Master Hyperion. This is definitely the Sun. You can see when he's blown up, he's got a whole model of the solar system with the light in his chest at the center. He's got a full circle ring around him, which is a very common sun symbol. He's very orange. Definitely feels still a little bit different in the art style. This is still very classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Art style. This guy with, a weird smooth face and lots of, gold and stuff. But not quite the same place that our, agents came from. This was in Lost Sanctuary, though. So this is 2011.
May I make one comment?
Go for it, yeah.
I'm getting Eldritch vibes.
I know
he came up before Eldritch, but gold, red circle, hands around the red circle.
He's doing some posing. He's jamming. I do kind of want to say this also, if you called this guy Solar Neos, I would not be shocked.
If you told me this guy was an SMT Angel, I also wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, honestly, I think that's the vibe they'd kind of be going for.
one thing that I think is just really funny about the agents and Hyperion thing to kind of like mild aside, but like we bring in Solar Neos. This wouldn't be the first. This won't be the last time that the planets are brought in as a motif for Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yes, I forgot to mention this earlier, but in case you are confused, we are not talking about any of the legendary planets because that is an entirely separate archetype from the GX manga.
Yeah, the planet series.
It's just funny.
I think they're just called the planet series in the manga, from what I remember reading, and like they're all just giant tribute assholes who there's unlike agents, there's no real synergy between any of them. They are just all designed to be a big boss monster, Egyptian god style.
And one of them you probably recognize because his ass is in jail and should stay there. It's Tyrant Neptune. But Tyrant Neptune is part of that.
I believe was played by Jim Crocodile Cook.
Would be the kind of vibe. But so this is the original Master Hyperion. Like I said, he's very gold, got big shoulders. He's getting his WoW Paladin look on.
The new X-Pack came out.
But he is a level 8 fairy with 2,700 attack, 2,100 defense, so pretty okay stats for that. And you can special summon this card from your hand by banishing one agent monster from your hand, field, or graveyard. Pretty great for a level 8 guy. You can banish a light fairy monster from your graveyard, target one card on the field, destroy that target. While Sanctuary on the Sky is on the field, you can activate this effect up to twice per turn.
Oh my... That's just really funny. I'm sorry. I was double checking, and I was looking up Tyrant Neptune, and just the way it's introduced is hilarious.
Yeah. So Hyperion, OG Hyperion for a 2011 card, pretty good. He is a relatively low cost special. He is only one card you got to get rid of, though you do have to banish it, in order to summon him. But it's you can banish from your hand, field, or graveyard. And then he's got a very Dark-Armed Dragon type effect to yeet a light fairy to pop one card on the field. And if you have Sanctuary in the Sky, that's twice. So pretty solid. I do remember, I think it was because he was a structured deck card, so he was in our card bank. But this guy was a pain in the ass in Prague for a couple of weeks. We had to put him in jail because if you just draw him like turn 1 going second, he's not really a brick. And honestly, in a limited format, he has the beans of like a Dark-Armed Dragon. Obviously, very outmoded, I would say, today because he has no protection. But yeah, but they also did a dark, edgy version of him, which, talking about 90s comics, hoo boy, baby. Behold, 10 years later, Majesty Hyperion. Now I am also purple. Also, he's doing a
system above my head to symbolize that I'm evil.
JoJo ass pose.
The purple podcast?
It's fire. It's the same fire. It's just purple now.
It's got the same like thing. The dark. It's all the dark things got where they got like the silver flame on the edges. It's like the flame.
Yeah, we've kind of inverted his colors a little, so he's
flame.
Dark. It's a dark sun.
Mecha Venom.
Yeah. I would also say with like his weird like skull chest thing, also like got some like weird Spawn vibes now.
He does. I still think it'd be cool if the agents had a version like this, just as like counterpoint.
I mean, I think that's a good way they could get more out of it because most of them are. I will say there are already some dark counterparts, but it's a thing they can like work on a little to get us some extra cards if they don't want to just, talk about more moons, more bodies. Could give us just, the Agents card, which is, for the asteroid belt. Just make them a lot of little guys. That could be funny. Anyway, Majesty Hyperion is Nega Hyperion. Literally, the sun symbol is flipped upside down. So, like,
yeah,
like I said, this is like very extra in kind of a bad way, but not terrible. it's just one of those things where, like, you look at regular Master Hyperion and you're like, yep, Yu-Gi-Oh card. Makes sense, you know? This is just like, okay, so clearly this guy's in his goth depressive phase and he's being super extra. Like, what is happening to you, my guy? Your colors are, like, white, like, deep blue off black, and, red-orange? Cool. Purple flames? Although it's very funny to mention the atmosphere, but we're going to get into that. We're talking about
I just started reading Tyrant Neptune lore, and I'm like, just like in the manga, he gets owned by the atmosphere, which is like that's the most fitting way to for like one of the most busted cards of recent years of like FTK shit. It gets beat by this guy that needs 3 tributes, and it just steals a monster. That's all it does.
Yeah,
Doesn't
it's
do
the world's
anything.
shittiest Thousand Eyes Restrict. So Majesty Hyperion is a Dark Fairy, level 8. He's got reversed stats, so he's 2100 attack, but 2700 defense. You can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by banishing one the agent monster from your hand, field, or graveyard. You can only special summon Majesty Hyperion once per turn this way. Any battle damage you take from battles involving your fairy monsters is also inflicted to your opponent, which means obviously with Sanctuary in the Sky, only they take the damage. Cute idea, but doesn't really have the stats for that. Or doesn't have the protection for that, I should say. Once per turn, you can banish a fairy monster from your hand or graveyard. Target a card in either graveyard, banish it. If Sanctuary on the Sky is in the field or either graveyard, great way, by the way, for them to also, you know, kind of improve the Sanctuary in the Sky requirements. You can use this effect up to twice per turn. This is cute. I honestly think this card is probably worse than regular Hyperion, because having a kind of like up to twice per turn DD Crow type effect, that's cool. This guy came out in 2022. This is, I believe, post Bestials. So, yeah. Like, our banish from graveyard technology is very high.
Yeah.
But he's a level 8 who's special summonable, and he's a big Dark Bungus, so, like, that's okay. We're trying.
We're sorting things out. We're figuring out the vibes.
Yeah. I think this is one of the reasons why Neptune has that effect to prevent tributing, but you'll notice that both of the main deck Hyperions have no protection at all, which is weird, especially for Majesty, because it's a Sanctuary in the Sky type deck. The way that works usually is you either want floaters or you want monsters that, like, can't be destroyed by battle to wall up. You know, you want to gain something out of not taking battle damage, but it's okay. We got a couple of extra guys. Like I said, we got some extra deckers as well, which is probably much needed for it. First is we finally got Pluto. I understand why they may have wanted to hold off on that given the controversy, but putting him in the extra deck as a synchro monster, pretty good way to do it. This is the Executor of the Underworld, Pluto. This card is always treated as the agent card, by the way.
I mean, because Pluto Hades, yeah.
Because it's Pluto. He's purple. And I think he's correctly purple.
Yeah, the one purple guy who's correctly purple, and also just a really, really good design. Like,
Also,
it looks really nice.
interesting enough, I recently checked something, and it turns out that mostly in Japanese, the way people pronounce it is literally how they pronounce Hades is Hades.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned
And we
that
talked
before
about it
with,
earlier, but it's like it's actually
Hades.
how they say it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense in Japanese, Hades. It's just I don't know why Upper Deck put the space in there is the funny part, because we didn't want to get away with Hades, I guess. But yeah, this is Pluto. But good art design, you know, kind of going again for the you know, gray-skinned, but he's, you know, Executor of the Underworld, so that makes sense. He's got a ball here, which I assume is, you know, because it's got the orbit, is supposed to reference Charon, one of Pluto's moons. Pluto actually has like 3 moons, but Charon is the one that's the closest and best observed. But he's out there. I like his kind of like, his wings are like torn or cut off look. You know, he's very non-standard.
That's a good look.
Yeah. And
It
also
also
just...
almost seem like fish-like garbage.
Yeah. Like fins. But also just like, once again, Pluto is a beautiful little dwarf planet if you see it up close, the way the ice is kind of striated on the surface. Cold as fuck, but very, very high detail painting in the backdrop for that. I like it. So this guy is a Doc Fairy Synchro Tuna, level 5. So this is yet another level 5 Tuna you have access to. 2300 attack, 0 defense, completely generic, 1 tuner, 1 or more non-tuners. Always treated as an agent, in case you missed that part. Once per turn, you can banish a monster from your graveyard, target an effect monster on the field. Book of Moon! Flip that shit face down. If Sanctuary of the Sky is on the field, or in either graveyard, that's a quick effect. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add Sanctuary of the Sky from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You can use this effect of Pluto once per turn. So yeah, no. This is, again, like, not as much of a shot in the arm as Neptune is, but this is a pretty good extra deck monster to put in this combo. It's another Dark Tuner level 5. It is a Synchro Tuner, which is actually needed for some really crazy Synchro plays. Stats are not terrible for a 5 Synchro, and being a quick effect Book of Moon can be pretty reactive, but also just if you use it to Synchro Climb, you can banish it to search your field spell you require, so that's also okay. Like,
just go up higher and just be like, fuck you, die.
Yeah. Especially if you're making some funny guys off of that being a Synchro Tuner part, you can get some extra juice that way. So yeah, no, it's a good card. It's not like crazy cracked or anything, but they're trying. They're trying to give these guys some stuff. And like I said, putting a few interesting guys in the extra deck is okay. Speaking of which, we got another little guy. Let me double check when this one came out. Yes, this was also supposed to be in the structure deck. They really expanded the extra deck in that. This is Protector of the Agents, Da Moon. Just Moon. This is a Link monster, by the way. Just Moon.
Yep.
I always feel like, I guess her and Earth are meant to go together, so meant to be like, I guess, a dual set kind of thing. Yeah.
I mean, we've got a very light color scheme like the Moon with a little bit of a yellowish tinge. We've got a Moon Mirror. Very, very prominent style.
The Moon build.
I like her little ear wings. But yeah, a solid design, you know, for doing some Moon stuff. Protector of the Agents, the Moon is a Link 2 Light Fairy. Not the best Link 2 arrows, but she's got side right, bottom right. So that little half. Has 1800 attack. Does require just 2 fairy monsters. If this card is Link summoned, you can send one Sanctuary of the Sky or one card that mentions it from your deck to your graveyard. Or if Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or in either graveyard, add one Agent of Mystery Earth from your deck to your hand instead. That's right. This is your Link 2 that searches your Stratos. If you already have your field spell. You can tribute one fairy monster, target a card your opponent controls, destroy it. You can use each effect once per turn. Not crazy good, but for a fairy type Link 2, pretty solid. And again, the just on summon, you get to put Sanctuary in the Sky in the graveyard, which is what a lot of your newer effects just need. Very reasonable. And if you already have Sanctuary, that means you can search Agent Earth. I'm not really sure, like, how the fairy effect is supposed to go, like, what the point of that one is, other than just, I guess if you're running, like, a Venus package, you can use the third Shine Ball as just a pop. You can also, if you don't actually need this to Link Climb, you can just sack Moon itself. Moon is a fairy you contribute. So it can get itself out of your EMZ, I guess, pretty easy. But yeah, no. Fairly solid card. Again, not breaking anything. I think it should be fairly apparent, chat, if you've been paying attention for the past hour, that a lot of these cards are really lockstepped by the fact that they are supposed to be about Sanctuary in the Sky, and the original Sanctuary in the Sky is a very outmoded field spell.
Yeah.
Like...
It's just unfortunate.
Yeah. Like, Moon's whole deal is just, hey, are you running a one of the OG Sanctuary as, like, a Garnet? Put that shit in the graveyard. Get that shit out of here. You know, just... Which is nominally pretty great, but the unfortunate problem, I think, and why this deck didn't become more meta when it got a retrained structure deck, which does happen, by the way. The, like, new edition of the Dinosaur structure deck, very hot, very good. The Fire King structure deck, which they did actually package as a structure deck, like, crazy good for a while. You know, like, so structure decks can be good. Guess what, fuckers? That Blue Eyes structure deck they're retraining, that shit's gonna be meta. Once again, gave Blue Eyes a fucking Link 1. I'm so gosh darned nettled over that one. I can't believe you've done this. Yes, I know because they banned Link Karibo. They needed a Link 1, but still, shit, dude. An in-archetype Link 1? You're killing me, Smalls.
Do they really need
I
a
mean,
Link 1,
like,
though?
technically, like, yes, the like, clearing your guys off the board is, like, a valuable skill in a lot of decks. So...
No, I mean, specifically Blue Eyes, though.
I mean, actually, yes, because I believe what you do if you get a negated, Maiden or one of your other Eyes of Blue guys, or, like, you've expended their effects, is you link them off for a Link Karibo to extend. And you can't do that anymore, so the Blue Eyes Link 1 lets you do that. But, again, it's just, like, the favoritism, man. Dark Magician don't even have a Link 1 or Link 2 yet.
Honestly, they probably would benefit more considering how the kind of...
I mean, honestly, I think they should, like, I personally think Dark Magician, while their fusion deck is very robust and they've done a lot to make it work, probably they should go back to, like, the Ebon Illusion or Ebon High Magician and also retrain Majimari, because now that Kazuki is dead, you're probably not going to get that art imported because it was one of the signed arts he did.
Clearly, what we should get was it Magician of Darkness and Silence, just a combination of both Yugi's cards as a Link 1.
Oh, I mean, that wouldn't be crazy. They already, like, retrained Dark Magician and I think Silent Magician to work in the new Gold Sarcophagus deck. Like, they're doing some interesting things, trying to, like... It's so funny to me, right? Like, Dark Magician as a deck archetype, like, has been so expansive over the years, but Konami also went, like... But shit, that's not actually what Yugi played, though. He played like a freak. You know, like everybody did back in the day. So, what are we gonna do? We'll build an archetype based around the Memorial Duel from the end of Duel Monsters and just actually make all that shit work. And it does actually work. But yes, Protector of Agents is a good Link 2, but does not do enough, I think, to advance the deck's plays. But they did give them one final Hyperion card as a big, scary boss boy. Kind of surprised, he wasn't already.
Before they disappeared. Sorry, just a little bit of Voyager vibe from the Link. A little bit. That's about it.
Right. So, we got
also seems like they'd be fitting in the weather deck.
A big boy. It's Master Flare Hyperion. He's more orange now.
Is this just fucking... He's going burst mode from one of those Digimon series.
I mean,
honestly,
kind of, yeah.
He's honestly less orange and more like red. Like
it's
like
a very red orange.
It's a red orange, blood orange, if you will. I don't know.
Where I see this is like it's like a mix of the first two, or it's more of them trying to redo the first two in the style of the second.
Wait, it's fucking Galamon to Galamon Crimson mode.
I mean, yeah, basically. Like, I think he's still regular Hyperion, but more elaborate. He does have the kind of reddish-orange. And again, this is a thing that, like, obviously, chat, in
dark Hyperion
digital color, you have, like, very exact things. In real life, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into physics, but, waves are more analog, so like light being a spectrum, technically there's a gradient between what we would call red light and orange light. So that's kind of what color this guy is. He is the color of the zone of transition between red and orange. Sometimes those things have colors, like I think there's arguments for whether or not cyan is a separate color or the others, but yeah, no, this is Lost posted the comparison straight up, but this is kind of Gallantmon to Gallantmon Crimson mode. This is his special extra transformation for the movie. The video game exclusive transformation.
Omega put a coin in the jar. Another pseudo IP Konami could make a thing out of.
A Yu-Gi-Oh 3D arena fighting game? Yes.
That or literally just. I think they, again, like Skystrike. I feel like they could make something. I don't know. I feel like they could make like one of those weird, like esoteric, like hour-long, like OVA movies people made in the 80s.
Fuck it. Give us Suikoden, but with Yu-Gi-Oh characters.
So, Master Flare here is a level 10 Fairy Synchro, going up in levels. This means he's got 3,200 attack, 2,600 defense. Pretty good stats for a 10. He can beat up one of the level 12 Centurion Synchros, but not the other. But no, he's got pretty good stats for a 10 Synchro. 32, I think, is a solid number. One tuner, one or more non-tuner fairy monsters. You can send one the agent monster or one monster that mentions Sanctuary in the Sky from your hand, deck, or extra deck to the graveyard. Until the end phase, this card's name becomes that monster's original name and replaces this card's effect with that monster's original effect. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, banish a fairy from your hand or graveyard, target one card on the field, banish that shit. You can only use each effect once per turn. So I'm not really sure what cards benefit from Master Flare's, like, dub effect. I'm pretty sure there are some big Parshaths that might mention Sanctuary in the Sky, for instance. But it's still, it's an interesting idea, and he does also, like, replace some of your other agents, so you can do some weird stuff with their abilities. You could, you know, send, what's his face? Was it Mars who was immune to spell effects straight up? I think that was Mars. So, like, there's some interesting ideas there, yes, but it's not crazy good. I mean, you could, you know, send Jupiter in the agent's deck to, like, get the ability to banish guys and get 800 attack, which is pretty good on a guy who's fucking 32, you know. So, like, I'm not sure what the full extent of your combo potential is there, but it's okay, especially in a deck where you're going to play some Garnets and some off-kilters. But also, as just it's not as good as a negate, but I think Konami also understood that, like, you can just play Heralds in this deck. So it's not as good as a negate, but a quick effect, banish a fairy from your hand or graveyard, target a card on the field and banish it when your opponent does something. That can be really annoying as a quick effect. So he's pretty big. He's got good effects. As we mentioned before, if he's properly synchro summoned and removed from the field, Neptune can bring him back. But also, other than that Neptune effect to protect him from being tributed, once again, no protection on this big asshole. If your opponent has any kind of pop or interrupt, you're fucked. And also, while he has kind of a weird control effect, if you're going first, I don't actually think you want to make this guy, because he's just gonna die. You know? Yeah. So it's a good attempt, but I don't think it goes far enough. Like, I think Konami could really give, like, Hyperion or the agents some actual, like, serious teeth in the department of boss monsters that they don't quite have. Like, they don't actually have a good way to win the game. They got a decent loop of advantage. They got a lot of ways to get their guys out. And, you know, if you're using Sanctuary in the Sky type stuff, you can reasonably protect your life points. But I wanna compare a little to another guy who came out kind of a similar time. So Master Flare Hyperion was released in Ghost from the Past, Second Haunting, which was 2022. I'm going to pull up. I know I keep referring to him, but it's important. Literally a year later, I don't even remove him. This guy comes out, Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel is another level 10 synchro, which requires a tuner and a non-tuner later dark monster, so you can make this in the agent's deck or in any deck. For this card's synchro summon, you can treat a lighter dark monster you control as a tuner, even if it's not. And then if it's special summon, target a card on the field, banish it, and then it gains these effects based on the attributes used for its summon. Light synchro monsters are unaffected by monster effects activated by your opponent. Dark monsters you control can't be destroyed by battle. All of the Chaos synchro monsters that Konami put out like a year later, crazy good, and arguably, I think, kind of like invalidated the necessity of playing a straight-up agent deck. Because you could still play those Chaos cards in the agent deck, but then why aren't you just playing Chaos synchro, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like Konami kind of bit themselves in the ass. They made a pretty alright attempt to revitalize an old deck. I think all of the new cards are fairly modern. They're fairly effective. They've got the bones of something good. And like we said before, there's so much just nonce you can run with fairies and Sanctuary in the Sky. Like I said, there's fucking Parshath stuff, there's counter fairies, there's counter fairy stuff in Parshath, you can run heralds. You know, there's all kinds of things you can whip it together.
Lots of angel nonsense, really.
Yes. So, like, there's room for this to be good, but unfortunately, you guys may be waiting another 10 years for them to retrain the structure deck again.
I don't even know what Yuga's gonna be like in 10 years.
God knows. Maybe we'll finally have Rush Duel in America.
Hey yo.
I wonder what a new summoning format.
But there are a couple of relevant Sanctuary in the Sky revamps I want to talk about. First is Fallen Sanctuary, or Lost Sanctuary. I believe this was actually... yeah, this card was printed in that Ghost from the Past Second Haunting, so this was in the revamped structure deck. So this is supposed to go with Agents. This is a continuous trap card that says... when this card is activated, set one Sanctuary in the Sky or a spell trap that mentions it directly from your deck. This card's name becomes Sanctuary in the Sky while on the field or in the graveyard. You can banish a fairy monster from your graveyard, target an effect monster your opponent controls, negates effects until the end of this turn. Even if this card leaves the field, you can only use this effect once per turn. You can activate one Fallen Sanctuary per turn. Out of all the Lost Sanctuary retrains, I think you can tell this one is one of the most recent. This one is pretty good for a continuous trap. Just on activation, get Sanctuary in the Sky or get a spell trap that mentions it. While it's in your graveyard, it's Sanctuary in the Sky, which makes a lot of your cards live. And also, it does the banish thing to negate a guy for the rest of the turn, even if it leaves the field. That's okay. That's an okay interruption. It does cost you, but it's okay.
But it works and synergizes well.
Yeah. And then if has anything pressing to say about that one, we also got one more one, which is kind of funny. This is Sacred Waters in the Sky. And this is another one that was supposed to come out in the structure deck and Masoan Ghost from the Past. And I'm pretty sure that's... Okay, no, it's... the Angel from Chorus in the Sky. Which is technically a generic fairy Sanctuary in the Sky support. It does not directly overlap with Agents like Sacred Waters does. Though certainly this angel lady does look like she fits in with the Agents. So, Sacred Waters is a normal spell card. First of all, its first effect is activate one Sanctuary in the Sky directly from your deck. Fuck you, terraforming. Or add one monster that mentions Sanctuary in the Sky from your deck to your hand. Then, if Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or in either graveyard, gain 500 LP for each Hyperion and the agent monster you control. If your monster that mentions Sanctuary in the Sky would be destroyed by battle, banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can use each effect of Sacred Waters once per turn. This is a good card. This is just get your Garnet Field spell out or search any of your bozos. If Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or in the graveyard, you can gain LP. You can get that have higher LP thing going. And also, it has one of the most annoying fucking effects of all time. This is an effect I absolutely hate, but we can't deny is good. It's only by battle, but still, the banish instead of destruction effect on like a normal spell you run. It's not like Fury of Kairu Shin good, because that's like any kind of destruction, but remember how I mentioned that, you know, a lot of the way the whole thing Sanctuary in the Sky is supposed to do is to, like, you need monsters that are protected from battle so you can, like, not lose advantage with your cards that you don't lose LP from? Sacred Waters does that. It gives you battle protection. It would be better, and I don't know why it's just not just if your monster that mentioned Sanctuary in the Sky would be destroyed, period, banish this card. But I guess would it be Agents if Konami didn't have an oddly, reserved design on it?
I mean, these, like the pack of these agent cards just gets silly. Like we just do it. We're just making shit up.
Yeah, no, like and again, I think it really is just because Sanctuary in the Sky is a card from 2004 that just doesn't fucking do anything anymore. Konami has given you everything in your power to allow you to just conjure Sanctuary in the Sky from nowhere. You have cards which say they're Sanctuary in the Sky. You have cards which activate Sanctuary in the Sky. Like, I should actually double check. This is a Duel Links deck, and there is a skill about agents, so I'm guessing that probably conjures Sanctuary from the Sky
set in Duel Links.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, I would imagine it's just you start with Sanctuary in the Sky. Who cares?
Oh, no, it doesn't do that. Okay, that's sad. Tuning in the Sky just says you can't normal or special except the Agent, Hyperion monsters, Synchro monsters, and normal monsters. During your main phase, send an Agent from your deck to the graveyard and apply the following effect. Shuffle one Hyperion from your deck to your hand. Add a Hyperion or Agent of Creation Venus. During your main phase, you can treat a fairy as a tuner. So that does make me sad, but also I'm very shocked that, like, Konami has not found a way to put a Duel Links type card into Agents in regular Yu-Gi-Oh, which just says, add Sanctuary in the Sky to your deck from your side deck or something dumb. Like, literally summon Sanctuary in the Sky from nowhere, because that's how hard we're trying to make it so you can actually, like, get to Sanctuary, because you need Sanctuary. But Sanctuary doesn't do anything.
It's a forever problem of ancient. It's a forever problem of these ancient archetypes that were from the early 2000s, where it wasn't really an archetype. It was just, this card's meant to go with this thing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as far as I know, let me see if Sanctuary in the Sky actually like lists them. But let's see. Yeah, Sanctuary in the Sky series. So let me see about all the different ones. Oh, I think there's only actually 3. I thought there were more. Yeah, Sanctum of Parshath counts, and that's a continuous spell. So, I guess they're not really trying too hard because they have not yet created the Pacifist of Sanctuary in the Sky, which, in case you guys forgot, Pacifist counts as Umi.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like Umi where they just need to make multiple versions of this card that just do different things.
There's like 15 field spells that also count as Umi because we hand fisted Umi way too early on and we realized we fucked up.
Yeah, so there's regular Umi, there's a legendary ocean, which is vaguely associated with Atlanteans. There is Lemuria, the Forgotten City, which is the mermail version of Umi. There is Magellanica, the Deep Sea City, which is for Deep Sea. The Deep Sea Diva type Synchro archetype. And then there's Pacifist, which is for Phantasm Spiral.
Yeah.
And then there are cards like Sea Stealth and shit, which, let you search out Umis and whatnot. So, if we want Sanctuary in the Sky type stuff to go, they gotta probably start doing more fairy archetypes that slip in there. Like I said, you really need a something on the scale of like a Pacifist that you can also build the deck around that counts as Sanctuary in the Sky. But for now, I think Agents have the skeleton of being a good package, possibly even a good archetype. For sure. It's just that, like we said, they're a little weighed down by their reliance on Sanctuary in the Sky, but having a, in archetype, like, Dark Armed Dragon type guy, having a big Bongler level 10, even if you don't want to run Master Flare Hyperion, like I said, you can just run Chaos Angel in this fucking deck. If you need a level 10, guy. Lots of room for Link plays and Synchro plays. So, like, sadly, if you're playing Pure Fairies, I don't actually think there are any rank 2s that are super relevant. I guess there's Sky Cavalry? That's funny. I guess that means that if you can run Sky Cavalry because of the way Mystic Shineball works, that means you have a Zeus line in this deck, which is very funny.
No.
So, like, yeah, there's a lot of interesting, potential here. It is kind of sad though that like I said, Konami seems to have, looked at the clock, gone, oh, it's Hyperion Agent structure deck time. Cool, we're gonna forget about him. Like they added one extra guy with Venus. Yeah.
It's time for your routine Hyperion support.
Yeah, here it is. And then they just kind of like let it go. They remembered to do the dark version of Venus when they did Battle of Chaos, because that was all themed on Chaos monsters, but also I feel like the Battle of Chaos set included cards like Chaos Angel, Chaos Archfiend and shit, so they kind of like power crept their own deck, and it hasn't come back, and I'm a little sad, because like, these guys are old school. They've been there since the beginning. They have been relevant. They deserve a second look, and I would appreciate if Konami could like instead of doing cold fusion to let you play Sanctuary from the Sky from your deck and do nothing, just give me a Sanctuary in the Sky retrain that does something. And I mean more so than Lost Sanctuary. Lost Sanctuary is okay with like a monster negate. It's also a continuous trap card. You know, there's room here. And I honestly, I think the main problem is that I don't actually think that agents are a going first control deck.
They really aren't.
Like, if you're playing the Herald side, you can do that, but like Master Flare Hyperion has a reactive effect to banish a card, but like the way I think regular Hyperion's supposed to work, and I'm pretty sure the way that like Axe kicked our ass with him is you summon him when it's your turn to get a battle phase in, you start popping monsters, and yeah, it's kind of a mid-range combo deck that probably wants a battle phase because you have to run over.
As you can see, I'm a mid-range. It was a mid-range deck, so I liked it.
Yeah, like it's a deck that's flexible, that does a lot of strats, and the main problem now is that I don't think any of their newer monsters are enough of an actual payoff. Like, what do you get out of summoning Master Flare Hyperion? You get a slightly bigger asshole who can banish a card, but only if your opponent does something. Not terrible, but also, you know, again, not going to beat like a Chaos Angel who's like 35, not going to beat, you know, talking about 10s. Not better than Baronne de Fleur, who's fucking generic and is a pop and also a negate. And, like, people didn't talk about it a lot, but one of the reasons, obviously you can't run Baronne now in the TCG, she's banned, but still. One of the other things that Baronne did is Baronne only negated, like, once per being face up. Baronne can, if your opponent's not dead, Baronne can put herself back. Like, in standby phase, she goes back to the extra deck, and you summon a guy out of your graveyard. So, like, again, it's one of those cases where Konami's out there. Sadly, Zed, as usual, for scheduling, we started a little early, and we're wrapping up. We're talking about how Sanctuary in the Sky was cool. The agents are neat, but even with their legacy support, they don't have quite enough gas to clinch things. So this was our Patreon poll results. We'll run up a new poll in the new month. We will be back, I think, next week with the starter for a month with another normal fail portrayal where we will hit up Endymion is next. So we're going to talk about spell counters and then probably cram Pendulum Endymion in there.
Before we end, I just want to thank everyone who voted for Inpachi. You have my support.
Yeah, that was a fun time as well. We got to talk about that. And then we'll probably have like a couple cubes. We will eventually do some DDM content as well.
I'd like to do it. I feel we should do it at least by some point next. We should at least try.
But the Cuban is you know, interesting. And I don't know if that'll be the one we do next for the cube, but I did, based on our feedback, did revamp Fire and Ice, so the fire lines are a lot better.
Cool.
Is Anti-Spell Fragrance directly related to Endymion? Or are you talking about the fact that Anti-Spell fucking kills Endymion because pendulums? But yeah, the spell counters are in there as well as a big one. So that'll be next week. And like I said, I also already I wrote the note on my notepad to hypothetically build a cube which is nothing but normal monsters, normal monster support. Oh, there's a card that's just anti-spell. If that's related to Endymion, we can look at that. But yeah, I've already thought of a new cube which is just normal monsters and probably effect monsters that don't do anything. Like, they have effects, but they don't actually, like, resolve anything.
I'm curious what give an example of one of those.
I mean, honestly, I think Invader of the Dark is kind of a non-effect monster. He just says your opponent can activate quick play spell cards. Cool, great. There are also cards like Mudball Man, who is technically an effect monster with no effect. We probably wouldn't do that guy because he's really hard to... It'd be hard to justify making him, you know?
Also just kind of lame.
Yeah, he's kind of useless. But there are a few other cards like that. But, like, Gemini Pearl would probably be in there at, like, 3 copies, and that's it. Don't let Axe get all 3 copies.
I will try to grab one because it's an extra card, because I don't think there's going to be any extra cards. Because, like, what even spells are you going to put in, like, Law of the Normal and shit?
I mean, we could do Law in the Normal. I mean, literally, we talked about some today. There's 2-man cage match. There's, like, United Front. You could do Heart of the Underdog for Draw Engine. You can put Just a Break. Not just actually, yeah, Just a Break.
You gotta put
Champions
5 Heart
Vigilance.
Thunder, Just a Break in there. You just gotta put all the unique spells and traps to at least make it interesting to have an actual like strategy going on.
The strategy is summon normal monsters. Punch.
And if the server gets 2,000 beaters, have any like if there's any.
Well, first of all, you're assuming the 2,000 beaters are in there.
I mean, like, please just don't make it full of literal shit.
Well, no, it probably wouldn't use the crappy normals because nobody wants to get, like, the level 5s that have 1,500 attack. But, like, also if I just... Admittedly, there are, like, 6 of those guys, I think? Like, but if we just include all the types of the guys with 4 stars, 2,000 attack, and 0 defense, that's also just, like, not helpful because those just trade with each other. Like, I'd probably want a small spread of, like, a couple 17s, a couple 18s, a couple 19s, like... Get some combos where maybe you have to pick some suboptimal cards or make some choices. Maybe include a few 2K walls. And you know, there'd be some silly stuff in there. Like, you know, I can make it work. We could probably include some dumb Gemini monsters because those guys are normal monsters technically.
Honestly, Geminis feel like a good fit for there.
Yeah, like that way you can hypothetically have effect monsters. You know, there's some stuff in there. I haven't brewed it out fully, but I think there's room for some silly stratagems in there. And also, obviously, I've, you know, brewed my Water and Wind as well, and we could also do Dragon, Not Dragon, which is just dragons. Things that are not dragons, but have dragon in their name. But that's going to wrap it up today for Fail Portrayal. Hey, first of all, check out Monday's stream if you haven't. It's Mega Man X4. I, Omega, am playing the Zero Path. We did pretty good. Cleaned up all the normal boss guys in one stream. So it'll definitely only be 2 streams long. Check that out. And Wednesday, we're going back to Final Fantasy XIV. We're probably going to wrap up the last of the, you know, unlockable endgame content. And also the Rising has started, so I can get my
I might be a little late, but I'd like to do at least do the dungeons with you.
I mean, we'll see what order we do, but I do have the 2 level 100s unlocked, and I have the 4th raid, so...
You get to see the 4th raid that a lot of people are very normal about.
Everybody's very normal about all the raids.
Exactly.
No, it's great design. But yeah, we'll see, you know, what's up there. To celebrate the 11th anniversary, they're running a sale, so I think I can buy the fucking glow stick emote for, like, $350. I might have to actually do that.
For the next time you get the 2nd raid?
Yeah, you know, or just in general. The glow stick emotes are really handy. And like I said, they're on sale for, like, $350. That's, like... To my normally free-to-play type heart, yeah, spending, like, you know, $16 for the Chocobo or the 2-seater motorcycle is like, no, I could probably do something a little bit better with my current finances. But under $5 for a small emote series, that seems very manageable. Don't think I didn't double check the price when they said the maid outfit was on sale. I still think it's a little more than I want to go in for right now. There's a lot of video games coming out this year. Every little bit counts.
Thanks to everyone for showing up.
Yes, thanks everybody. We're gonna go do something else now. Like I said, keep your eyes peeled for that Patreon poll. Support us on Patreon to vote in the polls. Vote in your polls in real life. And pray to God, just for the sake of everybody's sanity, that next Tuesday in September there's a new TCG ban list we could talk about. Because otherwise, I think people are gonna start, like, eating their Yu-Gi-Oh cards. They're gonna go absolutely insane. We'll see you next time.
Considering how small they are, it's not that.
Yeah, but they're sharp cardboard.